It's Edge Radio Australia, our favourite little program, the most politically incorrect thing you can poke a stick at. And like I always say, little disclaimer, don't poke sticks at people, right? It's not cool.
What?
Don't poke sticks at people.
Oh,
right?
I thought you said something else, but no, it's okay.
No.
Off in La La Land.
No,
totally
that got me
different.
through high school. Don't worry about that. Okay. As I say, Aaron, I've got Ken over here, mate.
No.
No?
Uncle Kenny.
Uncle Kenny, sorry.
He's
Got to get
back.
the right pronunciation, title and all, mate. Absolutely. Great to have you here, mate. It's been a while, and we've missed you, to be honest with you. So good to see you back.
Well, I did say he would come back.
Yeah, but look what he had to come back to. You, man. Come on, okay? Oh, fuck. Yeah, thank you. Travis Carter over there. This is the show that you can't say that.
It's
Yes,
highly
yes,
inappropriate, but we don't care.
we don't care because we are sick and tired of censorship. We are sick and tired of people telling us what we can and can't say. We can say whatever our grey matter tells us, our lips want to talk about. So we're going to talk about the subjects that are going to get pushed aside, that people are going to feel like, look, there's a particular politician out there who says, now what's the phrase there, Travis? I'll leave that phrase with you. What's the phrase I'm looking at? We've got the guts.
We got the guts to say what you. We got the guts to say what you think.
Exactly. Now
I was wondering what you were talking about. I'm thinking,
oh, mate,
you're tripping. Hey, and before we get too far into that,
yeah,
welcome back, Uncle Kenny.
yeah, welcome back officially.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's great to have him. We for those who are fresh to You Can't Say That, we used to have Uncle Kenny on for the 6 Pack at 6, which was done at 5. We've got some awesome shows that are just like totally irrelevant.
Lots of them, trust me. Yeah.
So I've always loved how blunt and brutally honest Uncle Kenny's been. So this segment just was built for Uncle Kenny. So
true, right?
And the cool thing is these topics are actually Uncle Kenny's fault.
Well, he's done the scribbling in the file today. So
so I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be highly.
I don't mind if you blame me.
Yeah, exactly right.
No, I'll let you take the credit for these ones because they're actually really good topics.
Truth is, there's no blame, mate. This is actually honesty. We're really happy to talk about subjects that mainstream media want to bury or spin or anything like that. So,
or the lawyers involved want to hide.
Yeah,
as the third topic.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on.
That's going to be a good one.
All right. So, what are we going to start with today, guys?
What do you want to talk about first, Uncle Kenny?
Oh, the Aboriginal voice of Parliament, which is very controversial.
Yes, just slightly.
Yeah.
Hit me with your ribbons. Okay.
What's the issue, Uncle Kenny?
I don't know enough about it to be sure, but simply put, the Aborigines want their own parliament, apparently. They want to have a voice in how this country is run.
Well, hang on, but we're all citizens, and if you don't believe in racism, if you don't believe in apartheid, then don't we all have the same rights?
That's right, we do.
Yeah, hang on. So hang on, isn't the parliament there to represent all Australians?
That's right, yeah.
But they were here first.
Oh, yeah. Bagsies. I got in the car first, so therefore I own the car, right? Yeah, that's how it works?
No. Well, arguably you can say that the Pygmies were here first, and then I've heard it said that the Aboriginals actually ate them originally to get rid of them. I've heard some that they just killed them. I heard some that say they pushed them offshore. So same sort of thing happened in New Zealand with the Maoris. So the Maoris openly admit they weren't the first ones there. The Pygmies were first. But it's ultimately it comes down to they're not the only ones there.
No. So, and I'm going to push a little element of this which drives me nuts, and that is the fact that this is not. I hate this division. I hate this black versus white carry on. I really do, because there's so many good Aboriginals out there who just don't believe in this. In fact, I just joined a Black Conservatives page on Facebook in the last couple of days, which made me very happy to see.
I've been following that for a long time.
I didn't even know it existed, so I was pretty happy.
Great
yes, very much so. I think that this is, quite frankly, the woke, teal, need their handheld, need a safe space, those sort of types.
No.
This is about them. It's not really about. Okay.
You are so wrong on that. Sorry.
Okay.
So
I'm here to learn, mate.
There's a really good video. Joel Jamal spoke about it. We all know Joel Jamal personally.
We do.
Thanks, Joel. 897. So. The first two lines in their so-called what they're hoping to achieve is just fluff. The third one is that they will have a ruling vote on, or that they make the decision on anything that is related to them and their culture.
Sure.
Which is fine and all, but the problem is it also says that they're allowed to make laws and regulations around anything to do with them.
But hang on, if they're just members of society like the rest of us, that means that they've got a say in everything we do in Australia.
Absolutely everything. Now, the thing is, the Australian Constitution states what laws can and can't be made by the parliaments of Australia, both federally and state.
Sure.
So this is something that is designed to sidestep the entire Australian Constitution.
Oh.
Now, as part of that Australian Constitution, it not only deals with what, like, you know, if you break into someone's house, this is the fines or how you treat other people,
Sure.
Especially on the legal side of things, but it also determines who's allowed into the country. So the question is, considering, and this is, I'm going by what the scientists reports here, because we have to trust the science.
So always trust the science.
So the scientists are saying that the Aboriginal people first came into Australia when Australia was connected to Papua New Guinea, and they came in through northern Queensland and then populated through and became all the separate tribes.
We'll go with that.
So I've heard saying there's 200 tribes. I've heard 500 tribes. I don't care. Like, they're all their own people.
No,
So
I
the
only know
question
2
is-
tribes. Frankie goes to Hollywood, mate. That's the only tribes I know. But there you
So
go.
my question is,
Yes.
if they're allowed to sidestep the Australian Constitution and they're allowed to make laws on who comes into the country, what's their immigration policy?
Can we hear it? I'd like to hear that.
Because they don't even know what they're going to do to the actual, what rules they're going to change.
And
they
this
have
is
no
the thing.
idea.
Now, Uncle Kenny, let's get your thoughts on this, because, okay, right now they're floating something, okay, Albo's out there trying to sell it, and we don't actually know the details. So how can we have a referendum? How can we make an informed choice, informed decision about our own bodies? We weren't allowed to do that. So why can we possibly make informed decisions about our future? Can we? If we're being given half a story, we're being given narrative,
not
not
even
fact,
doing that.
not even that.
Yes,
Okay.
no one's going to know what will happen, and just how much power will the Aboriginal voice have on the bigger issues governing the country or concerning the country.
Sure.
And one of them must be immigration.
Of course,
And that's what struck me, is that what will be their policy on immigration be? Will they say, no, we don't want immigrants because that's what we're standing up for? They're objecting to the fact that white people came here 200 years ago with the First Fleet, Captain Cook. That's what they're bitter about. We took their country. So if they're going to have a voice in Parliament, I'd like to know what's their policy on immigration in the modern day today.
That's a really it's a really basic and very important part of this.
Would they just copy their Labor Party masters and say, yes, we want a lot of immigration? I think Albert, what's his name?
Albanese.
Albanese.
Yeah.
He's all for a big Australia. He wants 100 million people living here. That's
most of them from China.
That means big increases in migration, because our birth rate is well below that.
Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. There's not a chance that's happening with births.
Women are not having babies. They're all having playing football or something, aren't they?
No. The Pfizer whistleblower video we did, Malcolm Roberts really broke that one down So we went from, I think it was 23,000 births a month down to 6,000 births a month, but the rate of miscarriage and infertility has gone through the roof, in the last 3 years. So there's an interesting question, if you said there.
I wonder what's happened in the world in the last 3 years. It's changed that.
Now, I love politics. So
really? You never picked it.
I think it's awesome. So my question is, right? So there was a big one, like a lot of this stemmed from, they want a treaty. They want something written out, an actual official ruling on their land. So let's be clear, it's their land. They were here first.
I'm sorry. I went by that.
They were here. They were using the land.
Yeah, I understand that.
They were the first people here.
Yep.
They didn't develop it. The European settlers developed the land.
Sure.
The British government were absolutely mongrels in the way they handled Australia.
Very true.
But in hindsight, if it was the Spanish, they probably would have just killed them all out. So I consider ourselves lucky that it was the British, not the Spanish, or the Dutch. But the thing is, they're saying we need a treaty, like what New Zealand has. Like New Zealand's got a treaty. Why can't Australia have a treaty? What's native title then?
Yeah. I believe it's a treaty.
Okay, let's use the Noongar people for an example. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this. The Western Australian government have just settled native title claim on all of the southwest regions of WA. So I think it's Geraldton all the way through down to Esperance, all of the Perth area, stuff like that. $750 million over 12 years.
Okay.
So isn't that a treaty?
I think it could be. Look, to me, like,
It's not a sale. We've just bought their land, haven't we?
Spot on. But the thing is,
We've just bought it.
every day, so that much money. So in WA, in that section, there's only about 30,000 Noongar people in WA.
Okay.
So if you break it down, that 750 million people, and most of them are not actually in the Geraldton
$750
region.
million dollars, yes.
Dollars.
How many people?
30,000. It's about $120,000 a person.
Okay.
Okay. I've got 2 duplexes in Geraldton that cost me 70,000 for both.
Sure.
So why can't there should not be a single homeless Noongar person within Australia.
No, that's right.
So then how come all the money is to a few select elite people within their community and all the everyday people are getting absolutely royally screwed
don't
over?
you realize
on this
that this is what this is really about? This
Of
is
course
about
it is.
redistributing, wealth, right? And the problem is that, like, we're going to get accused of being racist and all the nasty words, everything is and ism that's going to be thrown at us, right?
Dude, former One Nation candidate, I'm used to it.
You're
It's
quite
fine.
used to exactly right. Okay. As the token half Indian sitting here, I find it ridiculous when I was attacked for being racist. That means I basically hate half my family.
That's because you don't bob your head enough.
Oh, I'll work harder, I promise, right? But okay, my point is, this is racism. This
Racism
is
101.
bloody racism.
And
what we're doing here, we're going to be accused of being these nasty, horrible people who are racist. Actually, no. We're doing is we're protecting, right? We are protecting the greater population against this influx.
Oh,
this
wow,
push
that sounded
of,
bad. It's for the greater good. We'll wipe out one group of people. No.
No. My greater good is to bring everybody up, right? Like we've talked about every nation so far, and I think it's very clear that 3 of us sitting here are very supportive of people of all different nations, right? Stuff that we've talked about before and all of that. Now, what concerns me is this is all being turned into division so that power and money can be directed to a very small percentage. And if you look at the incredible domestic violence issues that are happening within the Aboriginal community, when you see the housing issues and all of that, and the alcoholism, the violence, haven't we seen a little bit of that lately when it's finally come forward? It's been there for a long time, but when it's been promoted by the mainstream media in Alice Springs and that kind of
thing. When they finally got off their ass, went up there to have a look at what's going on.
Oh, look, Albo got off his ass because he spent
for 4 hours?
4 hours, right? I'm holding my hand up with 5. I have no idea why. 4 hours, 4 freaking hours. But he spent 10 hours at the freaking tennis. Bullshit me. I tell you right now, that's what I'm getting. I'm being absolutely overrun with bullshit and spin.
Albo doesn't care about the Aborigines in.
Of course not.
No, he cares about the votes.
Yep,
that's obvious.
Yep,
it's just all public relations exercises,
of course
isn't it? But
look, Albo's entire existence as Prime Minister is basically from buying votes from minorities and women, right? Okay, that's his 2 big power groups, right? And look, as a marketing strategy, it worked. I mean, he got his 32% of the vote or whatever it was. Tongue in cheek on that one.
No, I don't think he won. I think Scott Morrison lost.
You know what? You are bang on. That's exactly what happened, right? That's exactly
so
what
Australia is literally on fire, and there's Scott Morrison in Hawaii like, hey, launching a church. Why not in America?
That's right. So look, to me, this is just racism 101, and I think that I think acknowledging people is great. I absolutely do want the Aboriginal people to be acknowledged, right? But and that's acknowledged.
Again, represented.
Spot on.
But hasn't reached the point in Australia's history when the Aborigines really have to just mix in with everybody else and call it a day and say we are the one nation.
Yep.
I like that saying.
After 200 years. And let's look at the facts now, is that when white people came to this country, the English, the British, they colonised a place. They brought the modern world.
Yes, they did.
And now the Aborigines have the advantage of the whole of the modern world without having, they didn't invent anything, did they?
Well, the boomerang.
So
didgeridoo, they're awesome.
Sorry?
The didgeridoo.
There you go. There you go.
I don't think they even invented the boomerang. Apparently, they found that in France as well. The boomerang.
I didn't know that, but there you go.
My point is that they say they had a nation before white settlement, but in reality, it wasn't really a nation. There was a collection of tribes.
Wasn't that debunked?
What's that? They're having the nation.
The nation.
Yeah,
like, what is it? The black emu? The white dude that
debunked.
pretends to be an Aboriginal?
Yep, it was debunked. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was literally just fiction. Yeah.
I mean, has anyone ever found amongst the cave paintings of kangaroos and boomerangs and stick figures, the Aboriginal cave paintings, which are famous.
Yeah.
This is the only history they have, written history or pictorial history. Has anyone ever found a map of Australia in the caves?
I can't say no. I can't
Apparently
say I've
not.
seen it, no.
So
But here's my thing. Okay.
they didn't even know where they were, the Aborigines.
Well, look, I can't
Did
speak
they?
to that, but I'll speak to this, right? Okay, we've got a country here full of people from all over the world, right? Okay, now if you come to this country and you want to fit in and make it work and assimilate, right? It doesn't mean you have to say goodbye to your culture. I think of my friends who are, Macedonian, Italian, Spanish, Kiwis, bloody Indians like me, right? Okay. But we've come to the country, okay? Because I'm first generation. I was born here, but my dad wasn't, right? Okay. He was, came to this country for a better life, right? Escaping racism, right? So, okay, all these people have come to this country. We've built this wonderful country. Now, we didn't leave our culture there. I mean, as I say, from my culture, we bring, so many things, holly, fantastic food, all that kind of, and we celebrate that. Okay. We celebrate that. The Italians bring so much.
I so wanted to say that you guys brought wholesaling to Australia.
You really could. Exactly. Yes. And I'll cop it. I'll take it.
Sorry, it's a running joke between Aaron and I.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think but what I'm getting at is all these countries have brought, all these people who have come into this country have brought so much, who have made this country richer and have not lost their culture, but they have assimilated to the degree where there's a harmonious flow of things, right? So there's no reason, there's no reason at all to kill off or destroy Aboriginal culture. Celebrate it. Have it part of the tapestry.
Yeah, nobody said you'd have to do that, but
the problem is
the voice will kill off every other culture there. So I think what's really, really important, especially for the people who don't actually understand what the voice is, I think it's really important to explain to people what racism is actually legally defined as. Because most people think it's just let's say you're going for a job and you've got a black guy and a white guy, and you hire the white guy, so you're racist against the black guy. So yeah, if they were equally let's say the
equally
black guy was less qualified for the job and you hired the white guy because he was more qualified. No, you hired him because he's more qualified. But let's say the white guy was less qualified than the black guy and you hire the white guy because he's white. That's racism. But it also works the other way. Discrimination also counts when you put someone up on a pedestal. So let's say you've got a pool of 20 different people from different races. So you got Indian, Italian, Macedonian, African, Kenyan, Yugoslavian, like whatever. And there's a whole heap of people there that are all equally qualified. And you go, you know what? We need more black people because we've got a quota we got to make. So everyone else, you're not getting the job, but we're not hiring that one black guy purely because he is black.
Well, that's what they do with women, isn't it?
Spot on, because that's the actual definition of discrimination. It's either disadvantaging someone based on their skin color or their race, or advancing someone purely because of their race.
That's right.
Okay, so that also goes to sexism. It's under the Anti-Discrimination Act, so it's actually all laid out. And it's really, really funny watching the when you get a new job, you go.
I don't know where you're going here.
Induction onto a lot of like building sites and job induction stuff like that. They intentionally cherry pick certain things. So they take all the bit where they're putting someone on a pedestal, because so many major corporations these days all have gender quotas, race quotas, and all that sort of stuff they've got to meet. Have a look at the Labor Party when they went in. Oh, we have a 54% women candidates. So there's probably a whole heap of males who were potentially better candidates, but they didn't get the nomination purely because they were not a female.
Now,
so that's discrimination.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So the voice, exactly what they're doing, they're saying, right, you are going to be set aside. You are so specially bad. You guys are so shit at looking after yourselves. You are incapable of doing this yourself. So we don't put you up on a pedestal, show the world how shit you are, and we don't give you a special job. And that's what the voice is.
It's just great.
This is not anything to help the Indigenous people. No. This is the government taking advantage of the Aboriginal people and pretending to be helping them when all they're doing is taking advantage of them.
That's right. That's exactly what it is.
Sorry, that was a pretty harsh comment there, but I hate to say it. It's true. This is exactly what it is.
It is true. And again, this is what this show's about. This is the thing. These subjects are not being touched by the mainstream media because everyone's frightened. Right?
They're scared of being sued or something, aren't they?
Yeah, that's
exactly great when you got nothing.
Oh, yeah. We shouldn't let them be. We shouldn't be scared of these. You should be able to speak your mind.
in this
in a
country,
free country.
absolutely. In this country, we've
We need
always
the freedom
been
of speech.
freedom
again.
of speech. Yeah,
It doesn't
absolutely.
exist.
It does.
We need
It's
a Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We,
Bill of
Australia
Rights, we
needs
do,
a Bill of Rights.
So we
It
need a
is
Bill of Rights,
protected.
yeah.
It is protected by the High Court, but you're absolutely right. It would be much cleaner. Why are we
The
focusing on
everyday
this?
Australian does not have the finances to go to the High Court.
Exactly.
So
That's right, yeah.
freedom of speech is reserved only for the people who can afford it.
Interesting
Well,
point.
yeah.
Unfortunately, a true fact. Very good point. The fact is that all of this, having this referendum or all that kind of carry on for this subject, wouldn't it be better to spend that on a Bill of Rights for all Australians? Wouldn't that be a better idea?
This is what One Nation stands for. It's got the right name, One Nation.
Yeah.
We can't have a parliament for Aborigines and call it One Nation. It's because Aborigines already have a parliament. It's the same as everyone else's.
Yeah,
They can go to their member of parliament, can't they? If
That's
they've got
right.
a,
That's
a
exactly
concern.
right. That's exactly right.
So
Let me throw-
why do they need this? Why do they need it?
Let's say this referendum actually goes through and it passes.
Mhm.
Does that mean we have to have a referendum to have a Kenyan parliament, a New Zealand parliament, a American parliament? Well, we effectively already have one with the Corporations Act.
And
Will
what
we
about a
then?
women's parliament?
Oh, we've got a minister for women, but not one for men anyway.
Yeah,
so
why not?
there's
So,
already
but yet
discrimination
we
there.
we
Yeah,
have a
that's right.
minister for Aboriginal affairs, but where's the minister for Kenyan affairs?
Absolutely.
So
How big is this parliament going to get?
Well, their argument is that the Aborigines were here first, so they need special treatment. But
no.
I say the time has come when they shouldn't get special treatment because they've had it pretty well anyway. And my argument is that we've brought the modern world to them and given them a better lifestyle than they ever had. Now they've got everything at their disposal.
Sure.
They don't have to live how they did before out in the bush, digging for.
Some would argue
things.
that was a more,
Spiritual way of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
but if they
was,
want
but-
to live that way, they should be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. Of
Yeah,
course.
but the evidence is that when the Aborigines saw the modern way of life, they wanted that.
Yeah.
And because of the material advantage.
Sure.
And let's talk about Aboriginal women.
Well, I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I reckon we might need a break, though.
You know what I would love
okay.
to do once we get back from the break is we've done a lot of bitching and moaning. Let's be honest, we've been bitching and moaning something cruel. I think there's a lot of ways that we can fix this, and the government's really glossing over. So I'd love to talk about what we can do, because the whole purpose of the Voice is to improve the lot for the Indigenous communities. This isn't the way to do it. This is just going to create more division. So I think I'd love to hear people's feedbacks. We've got quite a few people listening online.
Okay.
I'd love to hear what they'd like to see as a way to fix some of these issues in the Indigenous communities. But you got to also remember, a lot of the issues in the Indigenous communities aren't just in the Indigenous communities. They're in every single community across Australia.
Of course they are.
So I'd love to see this become non-racial and just say, look, these people need help.
Yep.
And let's help them.
Help people who are
based on their need,
or whatever. Yes, based on their need, right?
Not based on their race.
Exactly. So, Australians, you know what? We're a loving bunch.
I'm going to give Aaron a wind up.
You are giving me the wind up.
Hey.
I'm going to go with this. I'm actually going to play a song now that I'm actually going to put.
Blackpink.
No, I'm going to actually put a song out there to actually ask some people in the community to step up. A lot of people who are hiding behind facades and so forth. I'm going to play a little song by Joe Jackson, Real Men. It's Edge Radio Australia.
All right, we're on the studio mic now. So for the people listening online, just talking, the mic will put you up. If you got any questions that you want us to tackle, let us know, or any comments. We promise we won't get personal, but we really want to hear your opinion on these topics because, let's be honest, this is a show for the everyday people to be able to get their voices out. This is a platform where if you want to say something, just say it. Like, we'll discuss the merits. But I think one thing that I'd really love the show to do is make sure we talk about the issues, but then also make sure we talk about what solutions we'd like to see done.
Solutions.
Yeah.
We love solutions, absolutely.
So, anyway, by the way, thanks for everyone listening in. This is awesome. Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
I've got more viewers than you.
Oh, jeez. You're so
Hey,
competitive. I hate competitive people.
Of course I'm
I'll beat
competitive.
you doing that.
Oh dear. All right, I better choose some music, so I'll get on to this, guys. And we'll get organised. But don't forget that last point you're on. So jot it down because it's already for you.
Yeah.
Yes, please, yeah. It's important issue.
All right. I just wish we want to keep getting copyright strike on YouTube, even though we have licenses and everything to play music. They still copyright strike us. Anyway, Taz, I've been following your photos on the old stalk book. I'm stalking Taz on stalk book. It's just perfect. It's great to see you getting away from your home and actually getting out in the community. Excuse me.
That was a good little bit.
You know, I've come to the realization, Aaron.
Yeah.
We need chocolate in the studio.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's all right. We had iced coffee and pizza for lunch. That was healthy.
Did we have pizza?
Did I say pizza?
Yes.
I'm thinking about pizza. I had iced coffee and Red Bull. Sorry for lunch.
I'm actually kind of thinking of getting the guy downstairs to knock up some fish and chips or something because I haven't had breakfast yet either.
Oh mate, I can't be coffee.
Well, I did have breakfast. I had 2 coffees.
I must have pizza on the brain because I'm seriously thinking about pizza.
Well, your shirt looks like a pizza. No. Bit of pepperoni, bit of cucumber
But
there.
the great thing is you can eat pizza. You can eat anything. With my shirts,
No,
drop it everywhere.
It's like a Cosby sweater.
Camouflage.
That's right.
Hey, Aaron,
Oh, well thought.
it looks like a Cosby sweater. Oh,
Yeah, you're disgraceful.
you're the disgrace. Hey, enjoy. Welcome back to the studio, by the way. Uncle Ken.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for that.
Oh, by the way, for the guys, if you're hearing like a buzzing noise in the background, it's so bloody hot and the air conditioner's booked itself. They reckon 5 weeks to get the parts in. Was it 5 weeks or 6 weeks?
The key is so yeah. Realistically, we're looking at March.
Yeah, it'll be cold, won't it?
Yeah. Well, no, it won't be. But it died 2 days before Christmas, and we can't get parts until probably. Actually, can you do me a favour, mate? When we've got a break or whatever.
We are on a break.
Yes, we are. I know, we've got another one, or whenever we can. We do a test and actually count the lights because it'll send a code out of what's actually wrong with the program. The lights flashing and the air conditioning will send out a code, and I've got someone who needs to know that code.
Okay. I'll press some buttons for you. Well, no one's telling us what they want to talk about. You know what? Let's get the copyright strikes. I must switch the mic over to the music. So if anyone does have questions, make sure you put the comments in. This one. This one.
It's not in the way that you hold me. It's not in the way you say you care. It's not in the way you've been treating my friend. It's not in the way that you stare to the end. It's not in the way you look or the things that you say that you do. Or the lie. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. For the lie. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not in the words that you told me, girl. It's not in the way you say you're mine. Ooh. It's not in the way that you came back to me. It's not in the way that your love set me free. It's not in the way you look or the things that you say that you do. For the lie. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. For the lie. Love isn't always on time. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm running a pretty long break here, mate.
How long till we come back? It's going to be weird hearing myself on this. So we do have a couple of messages here on the old personal stalky. So we've got Brett. One of the solutions he actually came up with is make all young First Nations peoples do compulsory work for the dole or full-time work. So the problem, well, in WA you kind of can because we're down to like a 3% unemployment rate. But how would you enforce that? That's my question.
That's a very good question.
So the other one, Tyler said he liked the name on the segment. So it's just good that we are actually getting people listening in.
Yeah, I know that, mate. I know that. Absolutely know that.
Absolutely.
You see a lovely big
All right,
spot.
John Hughes.
All right, so we've still got a while to go. We've literally got about 8 minutes, man.
All right. Well,
Okay, so
8 minutes.
Yeah, I'm running 4 songs.
Really? 4?
Yes, because it's a
So I
2-hour show.
go sit here looking like a twat for like.
You do it like so comfortably, you know, so naturally, looking like a twat. Roscoe sent through a message saying you can actually hear the clicking of the mouse through the mic, which was funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you know that?
No.
His mic or it's probably my mouse because the mic's just there.
Ah, yeah. That makes sense. Cool. Who knows?
Hey, Roscoe.
I don't know if Roscoe's listening. He's probably listening on Edge Radio Australia.
Possibly. So, hey, what was that mobile number again if they want to send a text message into the studio?
0409 005 928.
You know what? We need to put that on the banner that scrolls across the bottom so I don't have to keep asking you. I can't see lights yet.
No, it's turning on. Okay, so we're going to time it, how long it's going to take before it turns off, which is probably not going to be any good for us because it probably
Blows hot air before it blows cold air.
No, it's not that.
Oh, one light.
Yeah, no, one light's fine. Okay, so boom, starting it. Okay,
You need to set your security camera on to record it.
that's not a bad idea.
What I'm surprised by because we've now got the studio windows open.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that a pigeon or something hasn't flown in. Like when I went up there to open the window when I first got in, there was like 3 pigeons sitting across the top there. So.
Okay.
And if everyone's wondering why we're looking up, it's because Aaron's just turned on the aircon.
Did you pass me? Sorry, just don't want to walk in front of the camera and block it.
Aaron, you're already doing that.
Okay, cool. I'll need the pen too, man. Thank you. It's child. He's a man child.
It's always the childish things that are the most entertaining and the most frustrating for Aaron.
All right. So it is currently been running for
Oh, it's funny.
1 minute.
I said the most frustrating for Aaron, and the translator on Facebook, whatever it is, turns around and says, "Oh, the most entertaining for Aaron."
I don't know if my frustration is entertaining, but okay, maybe to you.
For me, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had another scam text message come through. What are they trying to steal now? You have an unused tollway trip was uncharged. Pay now manually via some weird link. I love those.
Yeah, it's white.
Hey, Christy is watching or listening. Welcome.
Which Christy?
Is Christy with the I'm guessing this is actually the hubby that's actually talking to us. Hey, Mr. Derek the Dollar Does.
Oh, hey!
It's good to see you got home okay. Especially in this weather. Ooh. Sorry, the wifey just called, so I'm letting them know where I'm at. Now the question is, whose YouTube channel were they watching on? Because we go both to mine and yours, but it's not telling me where.
He's going to the Edge Radio Australia one, correct?
Yeah, it is going to the Edge channel. Oh, we can put him in timeout.
Put him in timeout.
Derek. Sorry, I'm finding new features on what time will it finish? 6 p.m. Oof. Someone stacked it downstairs. Sorry, they're moving one of the other offices here, and I don't think the guy's actually putting chairs, like carrying them down the stairs. I think he's just throwing them. So like when it gets, if you hear a loud bang, no, Aaron didn't fart. It's just the dude next door. Why are you blocking the screen? Your bum's not that big, Aaron.
It is.
So just so people know, that was Aaron's butt cheek.
It was not.
Web of lies.
Yeah.
The light's still on.
I know. That's why I'm watching it.
Why?
I think because I'm waiting for it to start flashing. It's not going to work.
You know we're in the wrong spot for things to be flashing. Someone hearted your bum cheek. Oh, I love it. I bet you that's Derek. No, it's the Explore couple hearted your butt cheek.
Oh, thank you, Clive. I appreciate that.
So we're talking about a multicultural show.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Anna and Paul, where's your next trip to? Can you give us a little, say the Explore couple?
Well, I could tell you because we've actually got their show on. It was on today, and it's going to be on again soon.
Has it been aired?
It has been aired today, yeah.
Beautiful. And what time will it be aired?
It will be aired again, but it was aired today. I can't remember the exact time off the top of my head.
Oh,
And-
that's just not good enough. That's just not cricket. But there's his elbow. That's an elbow, not a bum cheek, by the way.
All right. I can't believe this is not going right now.
I say laugh if it works properly the whole way through the show. And it's just magically fixed itself.
All right, well, that's for you.
What's this? Oh, instructions. Who follows them?
I like to pretend like it's at some level of professionalism. All
No,
right.
that's for you, not me. All right, come on, Aaron. We've got 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's 10, but okay.
I'm trying to make you panic. Oh, the viewers are coming back. Yeah, all on my channel. All on my channel.
Oh, there you go. It's not a dirty word.
Fix your collar. Look, I just got a message from the wife telling me to fix my collar. Yeah, it is. Is it tucked in? I think I did the entire show with my collar tucked into my shirt.
Okay, 30 seconds.
There you go, honey. I love you too. Switching mics. There you go, Roscoe. Some clicks for you.
Take a little trip with me.
Edge Radio Australia. It is, of course, you can't say that. The show where we talk about anything and everything. And as always, just out of my, well, actually not out of camera shot because the idiot's on camera on another camera.
On camera.
He loves to rub his beard on the what are they
The
called
pop filter.
microphones? So, yeah, yes, he loves to do that.
You know why? Because it annoys the hell out of you.
That is your entire reason for living, isn't it? Just to annoy the hell out of me.
You and the wife.
I work so hard, and
No, you
just,
don't. Web of
I've
lies.
got feelings. Come on, where's my safe space? Now,
I didn't know you were a Till independent.
I will never be a teal independent. I'm gonna throw over to you there, my friend. Now, honestly, Uncle Kenny, you before the break, you were gonna start talking about Indigenous women and the issues that we've been talking about, obviously with the voice and whatever. Let's go with that.
I was just going to make the point again that the Aborigines really should be grateful that white people came here and settled their country. This is an unpopular view, I suppose.
It's a very unpopular view.
But someone should say it, shouldn't they?
Yeah. Well, that's very true. So go on.
Because, as I said before, we brought the modern world, which in all evidence, they had no ability or intention to develop themselves. And some anthropologists have pointed that out, making the comparison with other races around the world,
Sure.
how the Australian Aboriginal made not even the first steps towards civilization,
Look,
which might have been a clay cooking pot or
Sure.
something where they could cook food and so improve their diet. They were just hunter-gatherers. They were very primitive. There's no doubt about that. And the idea that they're trying to force on us now is that they're a nation before white people came here. We just cannot.
But it's been debunked. As I say,
debunked,
it's been ridiculous.
So what is their problem? I mean,
Well,
in fact, is now they do have a nation. It's thanks to white man's technology that they've got a nation, because now an Aboriginal in North Queensland can travel anywhere in the country, whereas before
world,
white man, he couldn't do that.
Yep.
They were very restricted to their tribal areas
Sure.
because the only transport they had was walking. Now they can. They didn't have a common language. That's obvious. Now they do have a common language, English.
Yeah.
So they can travel anywhere in the world, in Australia.
Now, the great
Free?
contentious issue there is people are going to go, okay, but they were happy with that. You know, they were satisfied with their life and they were enjoying that. Now,
No, they won't.
hang on.
You
hang
know
on, but
about the
that's-
amount of
no,
conflicts between the different tribes?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. But no. But okay, let's play the old devil's advocate here, right? Okay, people are going to say that.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the reality. Like what you're saying, all the rest of the world, it's all about progressing. All right. Now, the world has progressed in some ways. It's regressed. Certainly over the last 7 years, it's regressed horrendously. But technology, the way people react to each other, the way they interact, what they build, the structures, the world moves on. I mean, we had an industrial revolution, changed the entire way that we live.
But
Okay.
the Aborigines missed out on that.
Well, exactly. Now, as I say, the contention is that they were, a lot of people say, well, they'd be much happier if we just left them alone.
Yeah, but that was unrealistic.
Well, it is exactly right. It is unrealistic.
There's no way the world would have left Australia alone.
The world needs to move on.
We have too many resources. Like we either, again, just going back to the comment before, I was saying how it was actually lucky that the British settled Australia. Because if it was another one, like, can you imagine if China was the first ones here? Like, let's say the British didn't come here and say in the early 1950s that the Chinese finally discovered Australia.
Yep.
Can you imagine what would have happened, considering some of the atrocities they're doing now when the world is watching? Imagine if they actually found the country when no one was watching.
Well, let's go back to 1942 when Imperial Japan was sweeping down through Asia. Nobody could stop them.
No.
And they were threatening Australia. They actually attacked Australia. And
Next to your phone.
It was the white man's weapons and the white man's soldiers who stopped them.
Well, it's true.
And
it's true. And it wouldn't. And okay. In
So
that
I
scenario,
think the
British general.
The Aborigines should be grateful that we were there to save their nation, their country for them then from the Japanese. So I can't see why they hate white people so much. It doesn't seem to be logical.
But I don't think they do, mate. I think there's a small, noisy minority, right?
Yeah.
Who get, it's like any of these spaces.
The ones from St Kilda.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
And goes riding with them with bikies.
That's
They've
right.
been politicised Aborigines, who many of them are not complete Aborigines. Many of them have white skins. And who was that Ken, that Liberal MP?
Ken White.
Ken White, yeah.
Yep.
But he was as white as you and me. We are, But he was an Aborigine. And we should say to him, no, you're not. You're not Aboriginal. You're not. Aboriginals have distinctive features and black skin. They're dark people.
Look, I wouldn't agree with that. I'll tell you right now, as I say, I'm sitting here as a white Indian, right? Okay. And people look at me and like my dad is Indian, right? Okay. And I obviously European mum, Aussie mum.
You're only half Indian, yeah.
Exactly. Right. I'll take the good bits of both cultures. Right?
I'm going to disagree with both of you.
Here's my point, right? Now, I still celebrate being Indian, right? Even though I don't look Indian, I'm not living in India, but I celebrate the culture of my past and my family's past, right? And I think Aboriginals have every right to feel that way and do the exact same thing. And I don't care about the shade of their skin or their features or whatever, okay? I do find it, I don't get me wrong, I do actually see part of your point, okay? When you're, 1/16 Aboriginal or whatever, or 132nd or whatever the case may be, you know what, you're clutching at straws a little bit there, okay? Because that would be the same as me going, you know, that I don't know, I'm 1/16 Nordic, and therefore I
definitely,
want something
because
like that.
if they say there might be 1/8 Aboriginal and they want to be Aboriginal, their question is, well, what about the majority of your heritage is European? So why don't you say you're proud to be European?
No.
Why are they?
Well,
we're not allowed to be proud.
Oh, that's right.
This
And
is
also
fact.
on that front,
No,
also
I'm
there's
not
one's
challenging
not allowed
both
to
you
be
guys
proud
on
to be a
this
white
one.
challenge away.
I'm going to challenge both of you on this one. Let's say an Indigenous family adopts 100% pure European baby, raises it up in the Aboriginal culture.
Sure.
So out in the sticks somewhere, hunting with boomerangs and spears, and eating the traditional bush grub. Was it bush tucker? Doing the Dreamtime stories and all that sort of stuff. Is that kid Aboriginal, even though they've got no Aboriginal blood in them?
Yeah. Well, how do you define that line?
Spot on.
That's a good
So
point.
I think a lot of it is how the person is brought up. So I don't think the percentages matter. If you have a look at the census, over 40,000 people trans race from Caucasian to Aboriginal since the last two census.
Yes.
So I think a lot of it. I think where the problem is here is we're still labeling people.
Yeah.
Like labels are stupid. It's,
They really are.
you're not Indigenous, you're not European, you're not this.
You're bloody
That's
Aussie.
that's your
That's right, that's
culture.
why we
You
need to-
are Australian.
Yeah, we need to
It's
have
simple as
one
that.
parliament, for
spot on.
everybody.
Yep.
So, and the
yeah,
thing is,
this
they
is what
do
I-
have the
yeah.
representation in Australia, and I think a lot of it is more of a cultural shift. They need to start understanding that they are no longer the only people here. Same as Australians need to understand, like white Australians need to understand that Australia is not a white country.
No, not at all.
All that talk about having white people and black people and all that, it needs to stop. And I think the biggest thing, the way to start fixing a lot of the problems, especially in Indigenous communities, but this is also for African communities as well, is we need to get the kids to school. And I hate to say this, I
Big
think
issue.
a lot of the adults, it's a little bit too late for them. They're so set in stone on the way their upbringing is bringing them up. We need to get the kids into school. We need to get them to be able to read and write so they can educate themselves. We need to get them to understand personal hygiene, personal health, personal responsibility. Because if you don't have that personal responsibility, how can you be a member of society?
Well, and let's talk about role models, right? When you've got, and this is black, white, green, whatever you are, okay, if you don't have good role models, it's very hard to grow into a good person. And we obviously see, and I won't go on my high horse about the family court and the destruction of family and what they've done to children and destruction of masculinity in this country. I mean, I'll get on that at another date, right? But, and constantly, I'll always be on that issue. But kids need role models. They need to look up at a mum, a dad, or whatever. Now, what's happening right now and what we've seen, as I say, in the Northern Territory, right? The kids haven't got role models. So why the hell, if I was an Aboriginal kid in the outback, okay, I'd be out smashing the hell out of things too, because I'll tell you right now,
There's no punishment for it.
well, there's no punishment. And if my entire culture, unfortunately, if I'm surrounded by, because I'm sorry, I'm going to retract that word, because it's not culture. If my entire surroundings of what I'm actually viewing every day is violence and disrespect and no education, all kind of thing, right?
And get people getting away with it.
Getting away
That's the
with
key
it.
thing.
Yes.
So I'm going to share a personal story with you here.
Okay.
We've got, like, they're under Luan's name, but we've got 2 investment properties in Geraldton that we actually put up for emergency accommodation. So we weren't even getting rent off these places. Okay. Our former tenants, well, I think it was them. I think it's their children, set fire to one of our units, did $120,000 worth of damage. So when we reported the fire to the police, because they actually reported it under a different address. So our place is number 5. The 000 call came through for number 3. So the police reported the fire to state housing because it's a state housing house. So they didn't even tell us. We didn't find out for 63 days that our house had been half burnt down.
You've got to be kidding me.
Deadly serious.
Wow.
So what happened is when we reported to the police, they weren't going to make an incident report number because they suspect the person that did it was an under 12 Indigenous person. And we're under instructions. This is a direct quote from the West Australian Police. We are instructions from Quigley not to raise an incident number for children under the age of 12.
Yeah. Yes. Well, let's get started on Quigley. No, Quigley, let's face it, the absolute most corrupt, bloody lawman. Okay, let's face it,
he's an ex-lawyer, isn't he?
Well, enough said, right? Okay.
Enough said, yeah.
What do you do if you get 100,000 lawyers in the bottom of the ocean? What do you call it? A bloody good start.
Yeah.
You know, like honestly.
So we've got another dude listening in. David, he's you'll be surprised what I say to Aaron.
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Different one to someone else. I thought it was one of those fake accounts that's been stalking you.
Oh no. There you go. I'm enjoying the stalking. I tell you what, I'm hearing all
I find
sorts.
it hilarious.
It has become a bit ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah. But on the issue of so the trouble is Aboriginal children and juveniles, most of whom are young boys, what sort of a life do they have?
Mate, it's
very
horrible
bad,
life.
apparently.
Yeah.
They don't have strong parents and grandparents with moral teachings. They don't see their parents being responsible, holding down jobs, doing things like this. So naturally they follow. But
Of course they do.
It was
maybe part of that is the fact that a lot of places like Alice Springs probably don't have a lot of jobs. So why don't we? This is another issue. When are we going to bring back manufacturing to Australia so that we can have jobs?
I was waiting for that one.
That's exactly right.
You radical, you.
I'm a radical.
Imagine us with all our resources and our population and all of that. Okay, why in the world would we manufacture?
Yeah.
Jeez, I remember this drives me bloody nuts as well, right? Because I remember, buying steel from good old BHP and it was made in Australia.
Steel.
Oh, look.
They're still around, actually.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And the stuff that they sell now is not the same quality, let me tell you, right?
No. Australian manufacturers were very good.
Very, very
in
good.
most
Exactly
cases.
right. Yeah. And I, you know what? I paid more back in the day. And I don't care that I paid more, okay, because I've got a better quality product.
Well,
by the way, welcome to the show, Landy.
We didn't
Oh,
mind.
g'day, Landy. There we go.
So that David dude is actually Landy.
There you go.
And
Join the dots on that one.
We didn't mind paying more for Australian-made products because if you were patriotic and you knew that somewhere in Australia, you were
Someone's
keeping
getting a job.
a fellow Australian
Spot
in work. And we celebrate Australia Day, don't we? We wave the
no, we
Australian
don't. Not
flag.
anymore. No. Now
No,
we,
that's only if you work at Kmart. They don't celebrate Australia.
No. And also, if you go into a shopping centre just down the road here as well,
That's being ruined as well.
Oh, look, now we only actually celebrate Chinese New Year and Australia Day in the middle of it. Not
Isn't
even a
that
single
cultural
flag.
appreciation? Like if we take it to the Chinese New Year, isn't that racism as well? Racism
Apparently.
101.
Oh, look, it depends who you talk to.
Yeah.
The old story, follow the money, right? And even on that front, you've got an issue with that because it's an Asian New Year. It's a lunar New Year. Exactly right. It's a lunar thing.
It's funny. I play too many computer games, so I spelled lunar wrong in that post.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't even know.
Apparently, there's an R on the end of lunar, but that just shows how shit our education system is.
We go back to Australia, though. The point I was making is we're patriotic enough to have a special day of the year, but then we'll buy imported crap from somewhere else and don't care about our fellow Australians who are working in those factories who lost their jobs.
That's right.
You know what's
and
really
that's terrible.
So true.
And I thought, well, I think Pauline Hanson made the point when she was here that the Aboriginals get 43 billion a year, is it?
I don't know what the figure
that's
is.
what she said.
I'd have to check
We
that
can
out.
Google and find
Yeah.
out.
Sure.
That's Australia-wide, all the Aboriginal programs, taxpayers' money sent to the Aborigines, 43 billion every year. That's a huge amount of money. Now, why don't you put some of that into setting up government-sponsored and probably money-losing manufacturing industries?
Yep.
So that the kids in Alice Springs will have a factory to work in
Spot on.
and something to do.
Have a
And
trade.
they can earn money and keep themselves occupied. They
Of
might
course.
actually like going down and working in a factory making furniture or shoes or welding.
Pride. It's pride.
Because the
Like
other
it,
thing as
yeah.
well, taking that a step further, that's actually a really good point that Ken's made there. So if you send the money teaching the kids a trade, let's say woodworking, for example, they can then use that woodworking to start preserving things like their Aboriginal culture, their Aboriginal artworks and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's not lose money, but who cares?
Who cares?
We're losing
Yeah.
money hands over fist anyway. So
But you're missing my point.
Yeah.
The big point should be the Aborigines can keep their culture, but it pretty much it's in a memory. My culture is from Celtic, British, Irish Celtic.
Sure.
But I know nothing about that.
No.
And I live in the modern world. the Aborigines really have to come into the modern world. That
Oh.
seems to be the only way, because they already enjoy it. They all drive cars, don't they?
We all need to move forward,
They,
right? We need to go with
yeah.
the progress of the world as it turns. Yeah.
This is why I think the voice to Parliament is a step backwards for them, because
it's a huge step
it's
backwards.
not giving them the incentive to put all that stuff behind them. The 200 years ago. And anyway, another point that should be made is that the Aborigines say, "Oh, we took their country from them, and we should be blamed for doing that." But they should blame their ancestors for not making a country strong enough to defend itself against the British Navy, which at the time was nothing more than old sailing ships. The British were halfway around the world.
Yep.
It was a 3-month sea journey from England. And here was this great country of Australia, occupied by the Aboriginal nation, apparently couldn't defend itself. And I think if my ancestors were, I would say, well, I got no respect for my ancestors because they should have been stronger. And that point is, the Aborigines can't really complain about us invading their country when they made no attempt, or they could not defend it.
I refuse to accept the word invasion, and I'll tell you why, right?
Yeah.
Because
it wasn't an invasion.
Single country on earth, in one way or another, has been settled by someone else.
That's right.
All right, every single one. Invasion is just spin. It is just a word created for, to push and promote division.
Let me ask you a question.
That's true, yeah.
How many troops do you need for it to be considered an invasion?
Don't know the maths. What is it?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
But the first fleet had, I think it was 23 soldiers with bolt action rifles. 23.
23, that was it.
That was it. So there was more chickens in the first fleet than what there were soldiers.
Well, there's more chickens in federal parliament now than any other time in history, but there you go. I
Thank you very much for that, Sarah. So Sarah's tuned in, just said great show, guys.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks,
so,
Sarah.
Yeah. Make sure you guys, for the ones listening online, if you do have any comments, or if there's anything that you disagree with and you want to put your point forward, make sure you type it in, because we really want to have this show where we hear both sides of it. And you'll notice we all disagree on certain things, and we don't sit there and attack each other. We want to openly discuss it so we can get the full story out there. So to anyone who's full on greenie, lefty, or very, very on the woke side of politics, let us know, because we'd love to have, there's an empty seat right there next to Aaron. Like, there's not much space left over, but had to do it.
It was coming. It was always coming. There we go.
So we'd love to have you on differing opinions.
Absolutely.
So we are in the process of trying to get a few. I'm talking to one person from the Extinction Rebellion. We might be getting on the show for an environmental show. I think that's going to be hilarious.
I think it's fantastic. Because, okay, I don't know about you two, but I'm not set in my ideas, right? Like, I like to hear different opinions. And you know, you were talking about things today, and there's some of the things I don't agree with, Ken, right? Okay. But I'll take it on board, and I'll go to myself, okay, he makes a bloody good point there, and it might change my opinion. If you're so set in your ways, you're just banging your head against the wall, right? This is important. Discourse is important, and this is something we should be promoting: free speech and the ability to sit down. Because if you say something I don't like, he says things I don't like all the bloody time, right? Old Travis there.
You just don't like it because you can't debate me, because I actually research things. You just go off feelings.
Oh, no one cares about my feelings, right?
I care about your feelings, Aaron.
Okay, no, it's not that at all. Actually, it's a case of that. You know, we all have different opinions, right? And we should be able to bring them up and walk out of here, shake hands, and go on, have a beer together, right? This division is manufactured. When you are born as a child, okay, I've seen my beautiful children would hold hands and walk along with anyone of any color, all right? Racism is not a birthright. It's not a birth decision. It is manufactured. It is given to people by pushing your opinions on others, right?
I think a lot of racism is due to ignorance.
Yes,
they don't actually understand.
Yeah.
And if you don't talk to each other, you won't. If you do come from a family where the ignorance is strong, having that education, going to school, and this is like, this is really, sometimes feel like a hypocrite with this one, because I actually homeschool my kids. The reason I homeschool them is because I don't like the schools trying to vaccinate my kids without my consent. I cannot trust the education department to keep my kids safe at the moment. I'm not going to name the school because they'll probably try and sue me after this one, but they had a water play day. 10 o'clock in the morning is when they finished. I picked up my oldest daughter 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I found out she spent the entire day without any pants on.
Wow.
So when you find out things like that, and then they say, "Oh yeah, we've got bus coming to get the kids vaccinated," I was like, "Hell, effing no!" And I pull my kids straight out. There's no way in hell I'm not putting them into that sort of risk.
Well, that's a whole other show, mate. The fact of the matter is the government believe they own our children, right? They absolutely believe that they're, they have pulled our rights back. And there's a school down the road from here, quite frankly, who is working so hard, who has a far left extremist who is their counselor, who is teaching children to hate their sexuality and basically transition, all kind of carry on, right?
Oh, we got a few extra people listening in.
This should not be happening. This should not be happening. You know what? Kids go to get, an education with the R's, okay? And I don't know, reallocation of your bits is not one of those R's, okay?
Especially because you can't undo that.
You can't undo
you cut your knob off, you're done.
No, exactly.
Not everyone's Jewish, so
they do. Dude, it's a bit of skin, mate. It's a bit of skin. It's not the whole.
just snip the
Okay,
tip.
just so you know. Okay. We might have to talk off air about that. Birds, bees, and stories, right?
The birds and the bees and the birds who want to be bees, and the bees that want to be birds but still have the bee bits.
I am so impressed that you got through that. Round of applause.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube. First
use
of all,
something else, not true.
G'day to Arthur, Monica, Sarah, David, and a few other people that have just jumped on
That's
board.
fantastic.
Welcome for the show. Again, make sure you put your comments out there. But going back to, I have to give credit to one lady who is at Slessor School. Her partner unfortunately passed away due to suicide. He was Aboriginal. He's actually very well known. He played football with a AFL team.
Okay.
Really amazing top bloke. They were always late to school. And I used to think, it's not that bloody hard to get to school on time. And then I found out what's happening is she's actually going around to all the different family members because a lot of the parents were, and I asked her about this once, I was like, well, they bring the kids to the school. And apparently there's a lot of shame within the community for the parents who don't speak English and who aren't very good with English. They can't read and write, stuff like that. So they're ashamed to actually come to the school because when the kids go to the school and they say, right, here's your homework, and they need the parental help to do the homework, the parents can't do year 1, year 2 English, which is a major problem. So they have that shame. So instead of having that shame, they don't send their kids to school. So this mum, even after her partner passed away, she would go to all the different houses, pick up all the kids, make sure they all got to school, make sure that they all had a feed.
What a superstar.
And then on the way home, she would sit there and do the homework with all the kids so the parents didn't have to. So things like that she was absolutely amazing. A lot of respect for
Stepping up. I love people who step up.
There's another project. This is one thing I do have to admit the school did really well, was called the Fathering Project, because there's a lot of these families don't have that male role model. So they were getting other fathers out the schools to actually step up and be that role model to some of the other kids as well. So
that's massive too.
Yeah.
Look, we'll get the fourth wave, feminists attacking us whenever
don't
we talk.
care.
Yeah, I don't care. But I'm making the point. The moment that you talk about it, and I haven't got the stats in front of me, so I'm not going to rattle off the stats, but the stats at the moment, show that single parent families, will invert those commas, the disadvantage for those children is massive, absolutely massive. And when you look at the prisons and you look at drug addiction, you look this is where those children are going. Now, I grew up in a family where I had mum and dad at home. Okay. My dad and I, we butted heads from time to time. All the thing is, people do. Love him to bits, but I was raised having a strong male role model in the house, a strong female role model in the house. Role models. Full stop, right? And they build and they shape who you are. And if you go through your life and then your adolescence and so forth, and you haven't got those role models, you are starting behind that 8 ball, right? And this is something we absolutely have to fight. And what Travis has just said about that fathering, other dads getting involved. Bloody brilliant. Love it. And that fantastic woman who's going around picking up the kids. It's taking responsibility for your community. And something we've seen over the last 3 years with this incredible attempts to destroy community is, boy, have we built one, right? Have we built one? So many people have gone, hey, you know what? I don't like what's going on. I'm going to step up and I'm actually going to contribute. You know your neighbors, your people who have similar thinking.
It's funny you should say that. My neighbor's listening in.
There you go. There you go. And with that, shall we go to a break, gentlemen?
We need to, because we've got 2 other topics we have to hit. And it's funny we're talking about domestic violence, and I just said hit.
Oh, look. Oh, hey, should we go back to
Cancelled for that.
Alexander Downer? I remember this when he was the minister.
Downer
for
or
women.
Downing?
Downer.
Okay.
Alexander Downer, who became on, ended up being a
ambassador.
Ambassador. Thank you very much. When he was minister, he actually had a paper or whatever the hell it was called "The Things That Batter." I kid you not.
Yeah, the things that batter.
Oh, marketing 101. Yes, I'm not even making this
Batter,
up.
like
The
B-A-T-T-E-R.
things that batter.
That's nearly as bad as the Indian Prime Minister when he said the joke about why are Chinese so bad at cricket.
Oh my word.
Because they eat all the fucking bats. He actually said that on the floor of Parliament.
And with that, we're going to a song. I tell you right now, we are right here. You can't say that. We're on the road to yes, you can. We're on the road to nowhere. It's Edge Radio Australia.
He said it.
He legitimately said
He
it.
legitimately,
It was
and he
a-
did it in English, so they record every single word.
Oh, that. Oh,
Yeah, and it's funny because the Indian politics is so
No,
divided. Like, and it's really funny because when you watch a video, because apparently in India, when something's really funny, they slap the table. So they don't like in us. If something's really good, that we clap. There, they slap tables or they slap their knees and things like that. So that's probably where thigh slapping good came from.
probably.
Anyway, so it's funny because a lot of the parliament, because Hindu is the native language for parliament over there, not English. Sorry, Hindi. What's the language? Hindi. So he did it in English, so they couldn't take out the cuss words.
Oh.
So yeah, and it's funny because half the guys are sitting there listening to the little translator, and then they interrupt and start slapping the table as well. It's like it's kind of funny. Like we've probably got double the viewers on this show as compared to the finance show.
That's good.
I have to say, I'm getting extremely hungry.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Oh, here we go. We've got more comments coming in. Here we go. Good comment, Arthur. Comment from Arthur Ferry. Arthur. Yeah, he's put his name on it. From experience, the only thing the government and the police are scared of is when the community takes things into their own hands. Because I think it's kind of honest because and very true because the government can't control it now.
Well, why are we talking about this now when we could be on air? Now, come on, mate.
Because it came through for the special people listening
This is true.
online.
This is true.
So this is why they should listen online because they get to have these one-on-one conversations without it going to the radio station side of things. So keep the comments coming through, guys, and also thanks for jumping in. And make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that follow button. I don't know what the things are. So actually, that's a thought. We could probably see if we can get Taz in because she's a little bit green. Hey Taz, if you're listening, how do you feel about coming on to be our what's a polite way to say a lefty?
Lefty.
Yeah, come on to be our lefty. Taz is hilarious. She's a gamer, so we do Twitch together. So, but yeah, no, she's good because we've talked politics and things like that. And she doesn't take it offended. Like she doesn't get hurt, which is really good.
Well, again, it comes down to having a conversation with people who think differently. It's good for you.
So I still think we need to make sure that we do it with a resolution in mind rather than just sitting there bitching away. I think that's part of the problem that we had with the lockdowns and the mandates and all that. All the rallies and that weren't any solutions given. Like, how do you fix this?
We tried to do that. I certainly feel like that. Trying to bring solutions forward. But unfortunately, people were so anti-politics, and that, in my opinion, is the way to fix it. Use the system that we have and actually use it correctly.
oh wow, that would be something that a sovereign individual would do, that find a solution to the problem within the system that is there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's another thing that frustrates the hell out of me when people say, "Oh, I'm a sovereign individual. I don't care about the government." It's like, oh, that's not what a sovereign individual is. So, just there's a lot of people get misinformed on something and they run with it. And it's unfortunate because they end up spreading false and misleading information. So anyway, you get that.
You do.
I hope people are enjoying the show.
So when we come back, are there any subjects that you guys online want us to talk about?
And for the people who watch it after hours, make sure you leave a comment anyway. We do check them. I'd love to know what you guys want us to listen, debate and talk about, because there's so many issues out there. It's such a content-rich environment at the moment. We can nearly talk about anything. But I think after the break, we got Brittney and Novak, so I think we go to Novak first.
I agree. That'd be good chance. I'm enjoying the conversation. It's all good.
We really need to meet the gender quota and get a female.
Oh, you know what? I'll need two then. Hang on. So one of us has got to go.
You ready for a highly inappropriate comment?
Oh, here it goes.
You got the boobs for it.
Right. Oh, yes. But mine are hairy and scary. No one wants that.
Yours aren't hairy.
Yeah,
No, they're not. I've seen you in the pool.
They're all muscle.
it's all muscle. Yeah.
What, the hair or the boobs?
It's well padded muscle.
Is the hair
It
muscle?
used to be muscle many years ago.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, everything that was up there is now down there. Gravity's been a bitch.
Yeah, it's gravity, yeah.
Oh.
You're so inappropriate, Aaron.
Oh, no. Sorry, Muriel. All right, we've got a while to go, like literally quite a while to go.
Have we got time to duck downstairs and get something to eat?
Yes, you do.
All right, people online, going to a kebab shop.
What should he get? What should he order?
Herpes doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate to say this. I'm feeling like fish and chips. Actually, I wonder if he's still working.
This is. It's open all the time. It's open like 18 hours a day.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
And the thing is, I've noticed he's open Sundays as well.
Is he?
I had to come up, not to here, but down the road, so I thought I'd try and see the open. And yeah, it was open Sunday night, it was at 6 o'clock or something.
I came past one night. Mon and I came through and had to do something up here with resetting the computer. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so it's still there.
He used to pay the rent, doesn't he?
Certainly, yeah, exactly right.
So yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that's a no, I won't go there.
No. It's something we should talk about, though.
I was going to say put it out to the community, see if anyone's got it. Check it.
Yeah, well, we want to go bigger. Like, that's the thing. We've got to go bigger. We need
We need a
more
reception area.
You need
Yeah.
floor space.
space. Yeah. So,
To
I
be
mean-
honest with you, I think we've got the floor space here,
Yeah.
but we just got to put them on the division.
Yeah. When the reality is, like, we're growing faster than we anticipated. Yeah. We literally are running, like, number-wise, 12 times what the projected numbers were. But literally 12 times.
All right, that's the other thing as well. We do have a few advertising slots left over. So for the people who are listening online, if you would like to get some ads on the radio and promotions and stuff like that, make sure you do reach out. What is it? info@edgeradioaustralia.com.
Spot on, yeah, absolutely. And the great thing about it too is we don't just run it on the radio, which obviously is a great thing for building credibility, but the other thing is we run it through our social media as well. So yeah, look, it's very, very, very cost effective because you're actually getting to
I'm
your
getting
audience.
fish and chips.
Do that.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be back in a
All
minute.
right, you enjoy that, man?
Now remember the mic's hot. So make sure you talk to the people. Don't have them just sit there watching your ugly mugs.
Well, I will say this: what our listeners probably they might we spoke about hearing the fan in the background. We've got 3 fans on the go because the air conditioner is on the blitz and gone, and it's about 40 degrees in here. So
3 fans or 6 fans? Oh no, like the actual fan. Sorry, I thought you was
yes, actual fan. So yeah, it's a bit warm in here, but we're doing all right.
It's cooled down a bit.
It has cooled down a bit. It was literally over 40 degrees in here before. And when we went to the Greater Wealth at 1 o'clock, it was, literally over 40.
Yeah, hot day.
go, right? So, yeah, we're just right now we're trying to play with the idea. Do we find somewhere bigger, or it's time to grow, mate? Yeah.
Well, if you increased 12 times what you thought you would, there's a market for this kind of.
Funny enough, people seem to like honesty, integrity, and no censorship.
Straight talking.
Yeah. Who would have thought, right?
Oh, who would have thought, yeah. Well, we've had enough of the bullshit of 20 odd years of censorship.
Yeah, spot on. And it's funny, I try to be optimistic about numbers and things like that. And a couple of people said, "Oh, Aaron, you're being a bit over the top with what your expectations are. How quickly you build edge." And so I set the numbers where I thought would be realistic. And we're literally doing 12 times higher than that, which is just, it shows people's hunger for this, right? And we're not doing anything special. We're just, right now, it's 3 blokes sitting on some couches talking about what matters,
Yeah, we're showing a bit of common sense. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, what we used to do in the pub, right?
Yeah.
We can't do that in the pub anymore. It's,
You can't. No one goes to the pub because you have to drive there.
Yeah,
In most cases, because Perth is too spread out, and you can't drive home from the pub.
No. And I can't afford $14 a bloody beer either.
So what beers in it?
Right,
No one's glad I don't drink.
$14 a bloody pint. You've got to be kidding me. That's
Hang
your
on, pint or
pint. I don't do the children's serve, mate. It's pint or nothing. Right?
Yeah, what happened to the metric system?
Yeah. It's only been 1966. We can't rush these things.
the thing. So I'm just going through the comments and all that sort of stuff on the good old stalk.
Yeah.
So my fish chips gonna be like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Some probably an 8 high. This absolutely stunningly stunningly beautiful Asian woman, apparently her name Lee Sa, lives in Gold Coast, but all the photos are from like China. Something. There's a bloody fly trying to get on my nose. It's hilarious. Some of the comments like it was hilarious. So just going back to the, on the Greater Wealth, how we're doing all the scams and stuff like that, to be careful, especially with crypto.
Yeah.
You show up on my Facebook recommendations. But we are not friends yet. I tried sending you a friend's request without success. Would you mind trying it from your side? Nice to be your friend. If you find this news embarrassing, please forgive my notes.
That sounds like a bot to me, man.
Yep. So I have to say their communications is getting better. Sorry, there's an annoying fly.
I'm just going through some of the comments that are popping up, and through the message bit as well. Good old stalk book. Oh, another comment.
Oh, we got a heap of comments coming through. Oh, what an essay. Too right, the Indigenous should have had their ancestors fight for their generations. Well, hello, why aren't more people? Actually, that's a really good point, especially in regards to all the mandates that come through. Families, parents, etc., fighting for our future generations. So they don't end up asking us, why didn't you fight for us, our generation? So that's obviously our kids. We need to stand up now. That's just my 2 cents worth.
Completely agree.
So you would like your special guest opinion, please. Oh, there's someone asking for your opinion, Uncle Kenny.
Absolutely.
On exactly what on.
So what I just said. So too right, the Indigenous should have stood up for the ancestors' fight. So why aren't our generations now standing up against the government with the medical apartheid that we're talking about, with the vaccine mandates, the mandates and all that sort of stuff?
I agree, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sorry, not you. There's a fly that keeps buzzing. That's what happens when you open windows without fly screens.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So did I ever tell you what happened with Estelle? So there was a heap of flies in the house, and one, bless her soul, she was trying to help him to get outside, and she was too short to actually reach up to get the handles or open the door to show him out. So she went and got a pair of scissors and cut the hole in the fly screen.
Oh,
she bent it out and opened. And it's like, Estelle, what are you doing? And she's like, calm as day, going, oh, I'm just opening a hole for the fly to get out. And it's like,
That's ingenious.
Exactly, it's a bright girl, right? Don't give me problems, give me solutions.
Yeah, so all our flight screens are cut to high heaven, and it's all about hip height down. So
That is so cute. That's Estelle?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the one who's going to keep you honest for the rest of your life. Yeah.
apparently you're not allowed to call her Scarface when she burns half her face. Nurse slapped me out the hospital.
I wonder why.
What? It was a perfect, like half her face was like melted. It was like absolute perfect Scarface.
You had two of the most beautiful little girls
Still
I've
beautiful.
ever seen. They're absolutely gorgeous.
You should see the sun.
Inside and out, they're beautiful little hearts.
So,
Right, 1 minute.
all right, I'm gonna switch mics because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered timing it with you.
Okay. I like the professionalism again. This now I've got the fly. Come on.
I know it's perfect.
Tell me, baby, why should I let you go? Give me 20 good reasons. I need to know. Give me 20 good reasons. Give me 20 good reasons. Give me 20 good reasons.
Edge Radio Australia. You can't say that. That's what
Yes,
we're
we
doing.
can.
Yes, we can. Absolutely. 4 to 6. The fly got him. Oh, for those who are watching on camera, we've got a fly in the studio because we're trying everything to cool down in here. But I, like we just said, mate, how Aussie is it? We've got flies in our studio. We're doing the old one-arm salute there, sorting that out. Now, during the break, we had someone online who jumped in and asked Uncle Kenny a question. What was that question?
Oh, you mean I have to read it again? Oh.
Yes, you do, mate. Yeah, look.
All right, hang on.
It's the only
hang on,
reason
hang
we've
on.
got you here.
So
That's it.
it's from Chrissy.
Okay.
Where is it? I don't remember how to use this now.
Mhm.
All right, so it's a full essay. So it was in regards to Uncle Kenny's comments about the ancient Aboriginal should have stood up against the European invaders.
Okay.
So I'm paraphrasing here, by the
You
way.
are?
The 23 guys with single action bolt rifles. Two, right? The Indigenous should have had their ancestors fight for their generations, like future generations. Well, hello, with the head shaking and clicking of the fingers. Why aren't more people, families, parents, etc., fighting for our future generations so they don't end up asking us, why didn't you fight for us, our generations? We need to stand up now with lots of W's. There's my 2 cents worth. See, would like your special guest opinion, please? And the praise symbols. Woohoo, high fives.
Hey.
Yeah, well, I agree. She's right. We should stand up more and demand more of our government. Australia is, in my opinion, in the same situation now as the Aborigines were before white settlement 250 years ago, where we are threatened by a very powerful outside world. It's called globalization, and they are very powerful, and we don't seem to be strong enough or willing enough to stand up.
Well, I don't think it's strength. I think it's willing.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's really about the fact that right now, when you look at what's happened to this country, so many of our officials and our bureaucrats are for sale.
They've sold out.
They've completely sold out. They've just gone for that almighty dollar. And the thing that we say a million times, right? The reality is, if you are working you're a public servant. If you're a politician, you're a bloody public servant. You are there to respect the wishes and represent the wishes of your constituency, right? Like that's what you're there for. The whole idea that's your job, right? Okay, you had one job, do it. And we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is a filling of the pockets. That's what we're seeing. I think New Zealand's just experienced that with Ardern just filling her pockets and then exit stage right. Leaving a country in an absolutely terrible position. It's no different here in Australia. It's just been done on a different scale.
Where are other people in this country who don't care about how much money they're going to make in politics, but actually want to make the country a better place?
getting those people up is
stronger nation.
extremely hard.
Yep. Because you're against a machine that doesn't.
The flies got him.
Yeah.
There you go. But getting them up against the machine. I mean, the reality is, okay, the Labor Party, for argument's sake, have Get Up and all of these the unions and all of these different organisations who are like doing this behind the scenes in the shadows, right? I mean, we've really discovered over the last few years just how much of our public systems are done. Everything's done behind the curtain, right, in the dark. This has got to stop. Transparency is absolutely vital here. And we're not seeing that. And therefore, okay, that, the financial issue, and the fact that just quite frankly, the system which has been designed to protect those who are already in it, we're not going to get the good people into the system until, well, as you know,
we will get them in.
I'll step back on that. Sorry. Like some really good quality people have stood up. Okay. And we've seen that. Okay. Certainly in the last election. It's probably not going to happen in 5 minutes, but it will happen. Right.
We need a band-aid. And this is going to sound really weird. No, we need to fix the system. But at the moment, it's the way I see it, Australian government is just hemorrhaging our rights. We are losing them left, right, and centre. We need to stop the hemorrhaging first. And to do that, we really need to target the upper house. So obviously in Australia, the lower house makes the laws. The upper house is the ones that make sure that the laws are legal and just and correct, and are actually trying to do what the law is designed to do and aren't abusable. And at the moment, we're just not getting that. There's very, very few senators that are actually standing up. Pauline, Malcolm Roberts, Jacinta Price, I always get his name. Antic and Rennick.
Yep, those two have been outstanding as well.
There's a very, very few numbers that are literally carrying our freedoms at the moment. And it's by the skin on your teeth. They need help. They need real help. But the other problem is there's all these little back doors that they can take. So it's also up to the states as well to start helping these guys out. So you got to start putting pressure on all walks of life. So it's the state politics, the local councils, and you'll notice I said local council, not local government, because it's not a government.
Sure.
Bloody fly. You sure you don't have fly spray? Let's poison the bastard.
I've got some of that clean.
Let's do American and Vietnam, and we'll just nuke like Agent Orange. That's bad, isn't it? Sorry.
So bad.
Anyway, so we've had a So we do need to get more people standing up, but what we need to do is stop the bleed first, and then start solving the issue later. They've had 200 plus years to abuse the system. It's not going to be fixed in one election. Anyone who thinks, one election will get it done, they're ignorant fools. Sorry, but that's the uncommon truth.
The system is wrong anyway, isn't it? In many ways.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not even supposed to be political parties.
No, that's right.
What's the point of a member of parliament? He's your parliamentary representative.
Yep.
But when does he ever come and talk to you or ask your opinion?
I can tell you from mine personal, when he's given a check to some community to buy some more votes.
That's exactly how they work. You look at the former Attorney General of this country, right? Christian Porter. He was my local member for here in Pierce, right? Yep. Now I had some issues and I wanted to go and see him. He blatantly did everything possible to block me from seeing him.
Didn't he call the anti-terrorist police on you?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. That shows how pathetic that man is. And thank God.
And there's a reason why he's a lawyer.
Yeah, well, exactly right. Anyway, on that issue of the anti-terrorism police, what happened is I literally had some evidence, right, of some crimes that were taking place, right? Some very high profile, powerful people. I have black and white evidence. I can prove corruption.
What about Brendel?
It's black and white, this stuff. I said, basically, I'd like to bring this to you. So I sent him an email expressing an overview of basically what I had, and can we meet? Can I bring this to you? And his response was to send the anti-terrorism police to my house to question me. You have got to be kidding me. And considering that, so a request,
it's really funny you brought that up and how protected the politicians and lawyers are being of certain issues like that.
Yep.
One of the comments that came through for ideas for future shows is I've minimized my screen, so it's really small. Hang on.
No, do what you need to do, my friend.
Pedophilia is a good topic to touch base on. So that's one of the requests that comes through. There's I'm in the middle of helping a group of people put together it was originally supposed to be, I think, a 5-part series. It's now all the way out to 8-part series.
Really important stuff, mate.
this is so for the people listening, I also do video editing, and this is by far one of the hardest videos I've ever had to edit because they've actually got the testimonies of the kids that got abused while in the care of the state. So that video series will be coming out very, very shortly, and the creator of the video series has agreed to come onto the show. Yeah, so it's something we will be covering, but probably not on this show.
Yeah,
so,
and is and just for transparency on that one, because we've gone for that subject, we've actually, I can speak for myself, received death threats.
Oh, of course we will.
So
Sure,
it's yeah.
But,
these are some very, very, very powerful people involved. Very, very, very powerful people.
Christian Porter got his just desserts, but
Well, no, but did he? But did he?
Partly,
Yeah.
he embarrassed himself over that historical rape charge.
Yeah.
Which who knows whether it's true or not, but he behaved very badly in that. I thought he proved himself to be a hypocrite because of what he said about domestic violence and all that.
The arrogance of that man.
Arrogance, yeah.
Absolute arrogance.
And, he was the one who brought in the 3 strikes and you're in jail for
of course, forgot about
breaches
that.
of domestic violence orders.
Yep.
Which was very unfair because they're very unfair laws anyway. And these guys who had VROs against them, if they just happened to speak to their children, they could find themselves in jail. He was the one behind that.
Absolutely. And look, that has been so weaponized, and I tell you,
we're going to have
there.
to touch that one later because we are running out of time on tonight's show, and we do have 2 more topics we haven't even touched yet. But final comment before we jump off that one. So a comment from Arthur: you think that politicians run the country as public servants? You know those are the unelected. So he's 100% right. Have a look at the police commissioner in WA.
Don't disagree for a sec, Arthur. You are bang on the money there.
So during a state of emergency, the 2 most powerful people, used to be, it's changed now. And this is what the Kill the Bill was about. The 2 most powerful people in the state were actually the emergency services minister and the health minister, because they're the ones that could declare the state of emergency. When that happens, they've actually got more power in the state than the premier or anyone else. But what's happened is now that the former police commissioner, now the governor, is it the police commissioner or the governor?
He's now the governor.
Yeah, but the position is it the police commissioner?
No, it was the COVID commander.
The police commissioner. The police commissioner can now also declare a state emergency. But let's say you don't like the emergency and you want to get rid of the people that declared it, you can vote them out. You can't vote out a police commissioner.
No, that's right. That's exactly
he's even if you go through an election and you have a total government change, the police commissioner is still in the position of authority, and at no point should the position of authority be a non-elected seat.
Absolutely.
So that is just absolutely diabolical load of shit that McGowan brought out. So anyway, new topic. So Novak Djokovic, absolute legend, Order of Australian, I think, in my opinion, because he just gave the government the biggest middle finger you could possibly ever give someone.
I'll tell you right now, don't you just love the man? Honestly, whether you follow tennis or you don't, he has just made an absolute fool of our government, right?
Every single elitist in Australia that was pushing the mandates, that's a big FU.
It certainly is. And I'll tell you right now.
And no chest pains.
He got through the entire tournament without grabbing his chest. How good is that? You don't hear that about tournaments anymore. You've got players of all types of sports dropping to the ground and dropping dead all the time, which in my life, it was never a thing before now, but now it's a thing.
The only person I knew of growing up until about 35, because obviously I'm nearly 40, there was a player who they hit the ball and it hit the guy in the chest, like a direct hit, and it actually damaged the heart, and then he dropped. I don't know if he died or not. I remember that on the news.
Was that Hughes, I believe, who passed away that way? I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure.
So it was the actual physical impact that caused the death, not just died suddenly.
Absolutely,
So-
Look, sports are dangerous. Some sports are dangerous. I'm a former motor racer myself. Every time I got into the car, you accept some responsibility that what you're doing.
That's for crashing, not having a heart attack.
Exactly, right? So no. I've never seen in my history, my entire life, I've never seen so many very healthy men and women just drop dead. Strange.
The one
the
that
drugs they take?
the one I'd love to see is I'd love to go speak to a gym owner and see how many people have passed out.
Yep.
So I used to be a personal trainer when I left high school. Like I thought, oh yeah, let's get into this. No money whatsoever. So I've seen people throw up because they push themselves too hard, get a little bit dizzy because they're doing step ups onto a ledge or something too high, and blood goes to their feet instead of their head and stuff like that. But I've never seen someone grab out their chest, even with people with blood pressures like 220 over 180, like massively, where they're exercising and their eyes start bleeding because their blood pressures are too high.
Sure.
But I've never, even people like that, I've never seen them grab out their chest saying like, oh, my heart, my heart, my heart. So I want to know, with the sports, the increase in the physical activity is causing all these heart attacks because, you know, the stuff that they put in their body. How many gym owners, because they do the same thing, especially with power lifters,
right? Their
heart rate goes through the absolute roof. So I wonder how many power lifters mid-lift drop dead to a heart attack.
I don't know. Look, I can, from a personal experience, back when I was racing, I at times ran a monitor, right? Okay, and my resting heartbeat, I was in good nick back then, not the guy you see in front of you now, but okay, had a resting heartbeat of 60 beats a minute, right? That's Mickey Mouse. That's where you want to be. And I actually used to, under peak pressure, hit 225, right? Okay, but my body could maintain that, you know, and that aerobic, you know, part of your body, and you can keep your concentration, and I mean that's a lot of go. That's heart beating really, really quickly. So you know, if you're in good nick, and these people who are doing those sports are in better nick than I was, and they're just dropping dead, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me, right? Just does not pass the old pub test.
So what I'd love to know about this, first of all, well done to Djokovic.
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder if the Australian government will actually turn around and give him a formal apology for the way they've treated him.
Well, you know what they should do? They should give him a formal apology, much the same way as they've given Miss Higgins a nice golden handshake. What do you think?
Definitely.
I've actually got that news on that one.
Okay, I'd love to hear more. Tell me more.
Should I do it or Uncle Kenny? Because it's his topic.
You know what? Yeah, Uncle Kenny, tell us, mate.
Well, I don't know the whole story, except that
I do.
Brittney Higgins has been given a huge amount of taxpayers' money.
What figure was that, mate?
Almost $3 million.
Almost $3 million.
So, former Attorney General Michaelia Cash has revealed she is unaware of the compensation payout for her former staffer, Brittney Higgins, and was not consolidated during mediation. The deal, which has been worth up to $3 million, was finalized following mediation this week with the Commonwealth. Now, as part of the settlement, the exact amount she gets paid out is under a non-disclosure clause.
Right. There you go. But we do know that it's millions of dollars here, okay?
No, multiple millions.
Multiple millions, right? So we're going to say three as a fairly safe thing. 400,000 book deal as well, plus whatever, you know, whatever Channel 7 paid her or Channel 9 paid her or whoever paid her, right? This is ridiculous. It is disgusting, right? Apart from the fact that, okay, so this person is being paid compensation for a crime, an alleged crime that has not even gone through court and actually come to a conclusion.
No. So it wasn't even thrown out of court.
No.
They withdrew.
Spot on.
So that's the bit that I find most alarming with this one. Now, on top of that, it's really interesting what she's actually claiming compensation for and what they've been paid out for. So future economic loss, past economic loss, general damages and future assistance without home care, past and future out-of-pocket expenses of a further $150,000, and disability discrimination, negligence, victimization, sexual harassment, and sexual discrimination.
Right. Okay. Well,
so that's what's her disability?
What's her disability? Her ability to tell the truth. Apparently, lying is a disability, or maybe it's an ability. I'm not sure.
Is that how come politicians get their parliamentarian allowances once they leave Parliament? They still keep getting paid.
Isn't that interesting? Right?
Is that a disability allowance?
I can't go. This makes me angry.
It should make everybody really, really mad, and everyone should be ringing up their federal MP. And yelling down the phone saying, "This is unacceptable.
This is our money.
Where is the outrage?"
You know where I want my money to go to?
Where?
I wanted to go to pensioners. They've busted their guts for Australia, and they get cents in the dollar. I'd love to know how much money a full pension person gets in correlation to someone who's worked their whole entire life on minimum wage. How much tax have they paid versus the pension that they get? I think that would be a really interesting analysis.
With the current crisis, with the cost of housing and what's going on in that space, right? Which is just
have you seen rental values? They're through the
just
roof.
Insane. It's ridiculous,
yeah,
right?
And just so people know, with our investment properties in Geraldton, we're $100 under market because we think it's bullshit.
Is that called having morals? I'm not sure. Okay.
I thought it was ethics. But
Ethics,
we'll go
morals,
with
okay,
one.
we'll use both, right? Okay, you can have both. This will be one of the first times and the rare opportunities I'll have to actually compliment Mr. Carter over there. I love the fact that you actually are showing that moral compass and that strength to actually.
What, you're saying I don't have a moral compass normally? Well, it does point south sometimes.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And but we've got. Okay, look, the current affairs of this world will make stories up, but pensioners eating dog food and all kind of carry on. Like, this is bloody well horrible. Like,
it's the fact that one individual, she's only one person, can be given such a massive amount of taxpayers' money.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
But
she suffered nothing. In fact,
she had a great.
She should be the one paying.
I shouldn't say that, but I'm going
taxpayer.
to. She had a real good time.
Oh, look, do you know what? I don't care what a bloody time was. Here is the thing, right?
She got absolutely plastered.
Yes, she
and
did.
then had a root.
Oh, but hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, this can't be proven. They've got cameras everywhere. The staff, the security staff made it very clear what the situation was, right? And that's why they didn't pursue the case any further, because they thought, we'll get out right now, we'll cash in right now, and when the financial value is at its highest. That was a scam. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, my opinion. She scammed this the whole damn way. And the victim here, the real victim in my eyes, right? Okay, is that the guy who was accused, right? Whose career is over, who is now having to borrow money from his mum to pay legal fees and that kind of thing. He has been completely rammed up the rear, quite frankly. Excuse the analogy on this one, but okay, by the taxpayer, right? Okay. The represented, the government, what they've done to that man. Now, I don't know if he did anything or not, because we have a legal system. But we have a legal system, right? That theoretically these things are supposed to go through the system. We're supposed to find out if it's true or not. That did not take place.
Okay, so solutions to this sort of issue. So the easiest way is, if someone makes an accusation and then they request to drop the charges, no, it should go right through to court. Because what happens once it goes into court, it's like there's no non-disclosure agreements and all that sort of stuff. Everything is public knowledge. So if the person making the accusations is lying through their teeth, everything's out in the wash.
Now, that's a great theory, but here's the reality, right? Our courts are thoroughly corrupt. They really are. And okay, due to the way that they're structured, the way they put evidence through, all that kind of thing. Now, you can't. There's no such thing as a fair trial. Rather, it does not exist.
You love using absolutes.
I do, because that's how I live, right? Because I'm passionate about life, and I think that
it is reported the courts are corrupt.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, it's reported by
wink,
me.
Wink, nudge, nudge.
It's reported by me that I know that the courts are corrupt.
I
have evidence of corruption in the courts. I literally have evidence. But
is that still that evidence? Because I'd love to get that out.
Oh, you know what? I've got.
Is
some
it
evidence
still protected under 121?
No. Well, some of it is. Some of it is. A lot of it is.
I think.
For those who don't know, Section 121 of the Family Law Court Act means that basically it enables lawyers and so forth to work in the darkness and actually hide evidence and hide facts, and you aren't allowed to talk about cases. People often say,
okay, I'll clean it up for them. It's any evidence that can be used to identify a child in a court proceedings is not allowed to be reported on.
No, it's a bit more complicated than that, mate.
I'm paraphrasing and summarizing it. It's designed to protect the identity of any children within
things.
Not.
It's absolutely not designed for that. It's designed for lawyers to get more billable hours. That's what it's designed for. And anybody who runs under the pretext it's about protecting children, you're full of shit.
Oh, they don't care about kids?
No, they don't. Kids are kids for cash.
That video that I've been editing is going to show some of that in light, and the thing is this is not, none of the evidence that's actually presented in these videos is hidden. It's all being reported on by major news articles. So none of it's all being reported on before. So the person who made the original videos did a whole heap of other videos about it before, which actually resulted in arrests. It broke up a lot of pedophile rings over in the UK.
Good.
they tried to silence her in Australia, but nothing could be silenced because it wasn't her reporting on it. She's just joined all the dots together, gave it, and said right, and it had results, and it's already getting results. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm
really excited about this
because I think that these people need to be brought out, and natural justice needs to take place. And I think that when we talk about the Higgins case, I think that's just a very, very clear example of how incredibly corrupt our system is, and how narrative is far more important than facts, right? And when we're talking, we obviously broached into the family court. My overwhelming desire in life, my purpose is to protect children as far as I'm concerned, right? Okay. And to protect them from abuse. And these systems that are in place abuse children. It actually promotes child abuse. Not on my watch.
I see that a little bit different. That they're designed to protect the people who are abusing the kids,
which promotes child abuse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's not designed to abuse the kids. It's designed to protect the people who are abusing the kids.
Yeah, which in my eyes is, like
even worse.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you are literally promoting child abuse.
Yeah.
If you enable someone, if you give them the tools to abuse, right? You're just
all tools that don't get abused, regardless of what they are.
True.
And we're looking at this exactly with the Brittney Higgins side of things. So she's used this whole entire court case. And who's that Australian of the Year that refused to talk to Scott Morrison? The blonde one,
Grace,
whatever. Sorry, I think the way she behaved is absolutely disgusting.
Disgraceful. Yep, absolutely.
She's no grace whatsoever.
No.
So her using her connections, and by the way, the whole entire time that Brittney Higgins was working in Parliament, she was on the taxpayers bill there as well. So that wasn't government money, that was our money.
Yeah.
So she was getting paid to go get plastered.
Yeah, good point.
Very good point. Like, we shouldn't be paying a cent to her. How much work is she actually doing? Then you have a look like how abused the parliamentarian staff system is, because a lot of people complain about the wages of the politicians, but you should also look at the allowances and the staff wages that they get on top of it. It's insane.
Well, how much money flows into Canberra? Massive amount, and taxpayers should be more interested in how it's being wasted.
Yeah, look,
this is just one example.
The famous words of Kerry Packer in those days about the way our taxpayer money is being spent.
He was right.
Yeah, he was absolutely right. It's as true, in fact, probably more true today than it was back then. Time for a break, boys. We've been.
I'm hungry. I'll go get my fish and chips.
Long. It is Edge Radio Australia. I'm losing my voice here. That's how much welcome we've got. And it's, of course, what's the name of the show again, mate?
You can't say that, Aaron. You can't say that.
You can, mate.
Yeah, you can.
I'm seeing red.
Oh, fish and chips. We don't get kicked off anyway.
Are we?
Oh, and it was Grace Kane. Arthur sent it through.
So it's Grace
Kane, apparently.
I thought it was Tane.
Kane? I don't know. This is Arthur.
Oh, it could be. Well, yeah, I don't know.
So Arthur's like 70 something. So his ability to use a mobile phone is pretty cool.
Oh, hang on, which Arthur is it? Oh, different Arthur. Okay.
No, not Arthur. That Christian Arthur. This is Arthur next door Arthur.
Gotcha. Okay.
Painter Arthur.
Mixing my Arthurs.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Don't know my Arthur from my mum. All right. All set now. Okay. What's the Aussie music? The Aussie Kiwi. We've got the split ends going on right now.
Split ends. Oh, great, wasn't it?
Absolutely. That was right, man. And oops, obviously went off to pretty well became crowded here. Sort of thing. Most of it, yeah, bit of a crossover there. So
that's right.
Dear.
When I lost track of any music, everything from since then, I just don't know. I'm stuck on those of Led Zeppelin.
There's nothing wrong with Led Zeppelin. Let's face it, that's real music.
That's right.
They had these things called instruments.
That's right.
Not just computers. All right, we'll get the fish and chipper back. Can you do me a favour and look at the screen, and have we got some comments that we need to address?
Set, we'll go set.
Good day.
Good day.
Hey.
What you can't see off camera is the mic is walking back.
Walking back, eh?
It is walking back.
Right. Let's go book.
Now, when we get back, guys, which is in
No comments on my side.
5 minutes until we're coming back. When we come back, we'll have 5 minutes at the end of the show. So, how would you like to wrap things up in the 5 minutes?
Probably nice little brown paper, a bit of ribbon on top.
Sorry? Thank you.
Chuck.
I'm good.
Fish and chucks.
Flush and jumps, I'm fine. I'm watching my figure grow, so I'll give it this.
You know what we should do is have, you know how those crazy apes or the where they sit there and they're eating enough food for like 20 people in one sitting. We should do that with all the ASMR.
You could do that.
It's actually
So,
really good.
the heat has gotten me now. I've literally just run out of energy because it's just been a long day in the heat.
That's why I got some really good, healthy, complex carbohydrates and then essential amino acids.
Is that right?
Mixed in with a whole heap of like really unhealthy shit.
Those have a little bit of salt, you're right.
Oh, it's got half the Red Sea in it. No, literally, see the salt's red.
Yeah.
There's like they put like paprika or something in with
Yeah,
salt.
they do. Yeah,
It's pretty good.
it's good. Hey, guess what? Somebody rather wonderful has liked to post that we're tagged in, which is always nice.
Mhm.
Ella Hooper. Yeah, Ella Hooper.
Name like the Killing
Singer.
Heidi.
Killing Heidi, absolutely.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. Yeah, shout out to Hunter Brothers Media on that one too, and the guys at the Rock Pick. Yeah, it's very nice when you got such illustrious company as Ella Hooper. Great band. When did they were like 15? She was about 15 when they were big. Yeah.
No,
The brother's
they,
massively talented too. I don't know what he's doing but these days. I just haven't lost track.
I was watching this documentary on YouTube of all places.
Imagine that.
They were talking about the Australian rock scene in the late 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
and they were talking about Ella Hooper, Daniel from
Daniel Johns, yeah.
Daniel Johns,
Sell the chair.
and some of the stupid shit that was going on the tour and how protective they had to be of them.
Oh, I can imagine.
So with Daniel, there was this one older duck, like in her 40s, that was pretending to be her mum. So even she tried to kidnap him out of the toilets when he went to the dunny as a 15-year-old kid. So everywhere he went, even out school, he had to have security guards.
You're kidding me.
Nah, deadly serious. Like, and you wonder why he's got so many like mental issues now, because it messed him up.
Somewhere I've got it. I don't. Somewhere in audio, somewhere in hard drive, whatever. Is a show that I actually did back in the early 2000s, where my old co-host Brett Carpenter was actually did an interview with Silverchair just as they were sort of just breaking out. And then, long story short, it was about because they were so young, they had to be a certain amount of meters away from. They were doing all these gigs.
Yeah, they weren't allowed near the bar.
Yeah, not allowed near the bar or the cigarette machine.
Yeah.
So they had to sometimes literally just have. The three of them would be on literally one pallet in the corner,
Yeah.
and they'd turn that pallet into a stage, and that would be like literally a pallet, a few inches off the ground. Yeah, but they went through and all doing and that. I mean, look, they went on to be absolutely superstars, obviously. But yeah, beginnings and working on a pallet. Good on
Do you know if he's still married to that Natalie Bully?
Oh God, no. Years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that song Torn? He actually wrote that.
I didn't know.
Yeah, Daniel Johns wrote it. A lot of her music he wrote or helped write.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting stuff. Okay, we have got 50 seconds to go. And when we get back, we will have
As much time as we want, because we can.
exactly. It really doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, what I've done, I've got the next show I've got set for about 7 o'clock. So we've got buffer. We're now. So yeah.
to Radio Australia. Forever young. That's what we're doing here. And I try to pretend I'm that, but let's be honest, the body's telling the truth here. If not young anymore, we are doing the show we like to call You Can't Say That, where we talk about everything and anything we like, and we don't put up with any censorship or what the mainstream media likes to avoid.
And
So-
with the chips I'm eating, we don't salt coat it either. I just somehow in salt fish and chips, I just bit down on like a bit of chili, and it's like,
Oh, well done.
I don't know
Good
where
stuff.
the chili came from, but anyway.
Oh, mate, fantastic. Now we've got Uncle Kenny here, mate. Great to have you in here. We missed you because you were part of the show. Well, before we launched, You Can't Say That, with another one of our shows, and great to have you in here and have your perspective because you've got a different opinion, right? And you've
I'm
got
the devil's advocate.
Mate, nothing wrong with that. You need that in life, okay? And also, being a little bit older than us too, you've got that life
Speak for
experience.
yourself.
Okay, a little bit, but you've got life experience. That's what I'm
Not
saying.
older than
okay?
me.
Hey,
He's a lot older than me.
a little bit.
Show the respect the gentleman deserves.
Okay. I was being kind, but all right, we'll go with that. Now, we've been talking about all sorts of things here. We're disgusted at the money that's going out with the Higgins thing. I just find it reprehensible. I really do. It just every part of the rule of law has just been the nose has been waved at it. Okay, for financial gain. And I do think it's absolutely disgusting. As I say, I'm disgusted by the fact that the other person involved has had their life destroyed by this. And we so often see lives being destroyed by false accusations, that kind of thing. Now, I don't know if hers are false. I really don't know. That's what a cause for, to sort that out. And seeing that part of the puzzle just got thrown away and we just went straight for the cash payout makes me ask a lot of questions. But,
why did she deserve, or who thought she deserved so much money is
Well,
the question.
yeah.
But for what she suffered was so, well, most of it was brought on, she brought it on herself.
Well,
in my
well,
opinion.
strong words, mate. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you
look
have
at the
to be
facts.
responsible for yourself.
She went out at night, scantily clad, with some, apparently the man she went out with, she dumped him and picked up with the new guy.
Right. Okay.
Apparently.
Don't know that.
She drank a lot of alcohol, under the influence of alcohol. Then she went into Parliament House, and
Of all places.
Why?
Now, why was she allowed into Parliament House if she was so drunk?
Well, interesting you say that.
There was a security guard.
Well, no, interesting you say that because I actually heard from one of the security guards, and they were stating the fact that she when she went in there, they didn't have their passes, so they had to go through a bit of a rigmarole to actually get in. So yeah, she had to be verified, or both had to be verified.
Yeah.
But she was so drunk that it was very apparent to this female security guard that she couldn't put her shoes on. She was stumbling, all of that.
Yeah.
Now, okay. I know again the fourth wave feminists and the male feminists are all going to jump on me and say, "Oh, you're saying that she deserved it because she was drunk." No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying have some personal bloody responsibility, right? If you're going to get yourself in that state, what the hell are you going back to Parliament for?
Okay,
know
industrial
what that's
relations law.
Yep.
You were a safety hazard. If you were drunk on site, she should have been sent away immediately.
That's right.
If that was a BHP site, Fortescue
Right, good
metal
point.
sites, or
Really,
anything like
yeah.
that, she would have been fired on the spot and had the window seat.
Isn't it
Yeah.
about time we brought in a new law? No alcohol near Parliament.
No
No
alcohol
alcohol.
in the workplace.
Yeah, make Parliament
already
an
a law.
alcohol-free zone,
As,
so
as,
that we know at least they're
They
not.
sell parliamentarian wine at the workplace.
I know,
as-
they're all
as-
pissed.
as a bloke who enjoys a bloody good glass of scotch and a nice beer, geez, that sounds rough.
No, it's not.
No.
Let's have boundaries. We need strict
No.
boundaries.
I think you're onto something
know?
because you're right.
They are there to represent the people. They
Yeah.
are not there to get pissed on taxpayers' money.
Leave Jackie Lambie out of this. Now,
Point. 10 points on that one.
And what I mean, how slack
10 points
are
of
we that
wine.
we're just slack that this girl can just get pissed and go into Parliament House at 2:00 in the morning, and
No one
nobody
forced her to
says,
drink.
"Well, have a bit of respect for the people, the House of the People."
yeah,
It
but
should be
that's
a
respect.
sacred to us. Parliament is sacred. Nobody should desecrate it by going there at 2:00, pissed and intending to have sex there.
Yep.
Or which apparently that's what the evidence would show, that she was found naked and there was no evidence that her clothes were forcibly removed. So, in
There's
my
a lot of
opinion,
holes in the story. Yeah,
she probably voluntarily removed her clothes, and apparently,
Well,
This-
you know,
you-
you're allowed to claim regret now. Regret now apparently is rape, right? So
So
you know-
regret is rape.
yeah. So you
Mm.
know, if you take someone home and then you look and they look great at
Mm.
night, you know, got the beer goggles on, the next morning you go, I'm going to gnaw the arm off here,
Mm.
right? Apparently that's rape now.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well, this
yeah,
is a case where I think the guy involved probably just didn't want to be in it.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
I think it might have been just unlucky that the security guard came in at the wrong time or the right time,
You know,
saw the situation, and maybe Brittney Higgins was embarrassed, and so she did what many women do in a situation like that. They claim rape, and it gets them off the hook every time.
Yep,
And
yep,
this worked perfectly. And this is a high-profile case of just how corrupt or bad the system is.
Yeah, I agree.
But the idea that
I
she
agree.
deserved to be given $3 million of taxpayers' money
Disgraceful.
is unbelievable.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially
It's just-
without a true reckoning.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was a result, like I could understand it more. I don't think it's justified, full stop. But I think I can justify it in my mind if they'd gone through the process and the evidence on this, boom, boom. I get that.
But the
when
other
it
thing
hasn't
is,
happened,
it should
no,
not
there's
have
no
been
crime,
taxpayers' money.
No.
No.
So there's no way, regardless whether the rape happened or not. If the rape actually happened, whoever her boss was, should have been the one to pay for it.
Well, let's back the horse up a little bit too. Okay, I joked about it before about the drinking point of view, but that's a really good point. Okay, in any job in the world, I can't get pissed and go to work. Okay, I'll be sent home, right? Like you said, window seat, away you go, right?
Yeah.
Away you go. Okay, if you were driving a truck, you're not going to get loaded and get in there. It's over.
No, that would be a jail sentence.
Exactly.
Especially if you had a crash. If you were intoxicated and you have a crash,
dangerous driving,
all your insurances
causes
go out the window. You get done for reckless driving, dangerous driving, you name it. And there's people, if someone happens to pass away in that accident, you also go to jail for manslaughter.
So why are we allowing drinking?
So in her situation, we are actually rewarding her for making bad decisions and getting drunk on the taxpayers.
Yeah, but
showing
welcome to forced rate
disregard
feminism.
for
Okay,
the public building.
Yeah, you reward poor decisions. You reward a lack of accountability.
Yeah.
You know that's the reality.
That's
of it,
what
right? Yeah, that's what's
Because
going on.
she's a woman. Yeah.
So I'd actually love to hear other people's stance on this one, because we're a bit of an echo chamber happening in here.
Well, yeah.
Is there anyone think it's okay to be drunk at work?
Well,
I'd love to
I'd
see
like to
a
know.
four-way feminist try to defend the right to be drunk at work.
And what was she doing going into Parliament at 2:00 in the morning when clearly she's not working at that?
No,
Well, the love hotels were probably booked out.
I mean, this is what we need to ask. We need to ask what's happening in Parliament House that these things can happen. Is it some sort of
Well, they tried
open
to
house
throw that.
free for all?
Yeah, well, they're
You
trying
know?
to throw they tried to throw the Liberal Party under the bus as this terrible culture and hating women, right?
No, that's just Canberra.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I don't think it's
No,
hating
it's
women.
Canberra.
I think
Remember,
Canberra
we
I agree.
interviewed Aaron Stonehouse on this.
I agree. I absolutely agree. It is Canberra. It is the entire, whatever bloody party. It's just a bit of a cesspool, right? Let's face it. But I am very, very, very sick. Like we talked about this before about another issue when we were talking about racism, this separation and giving particular people special powers, right? If you truly believe in equality, women should not have an advantage over men. Men shouldn't have an advantage over women, for that matter, right?
We're different. We should be treated exactly based on our actions and performance.
Yeah, look, we've got someone coming in a couple of weeks, which is very interesting, who is very upset about the fact that women are losing their power in sports because of trans athletes, right? And that's women, everyday women who are working their butts off to become really good at sports or going, making a career, are being pushed out because biological men are going in there and going, hey, guess what? Today I feel like a woman. Man, I feel like a woman. No, you're not, mate. You're a bloke, right? Who's cheating. That's what you're doing. Okay? You're cheating.
The fact is they're that bad at their own sport that they have to go into. It's like an adult playing in under 15s.
That's spot on. Yeah. When I was rally driving, okay, we had male drivers, female drivers, co-drivers, all that kind of thing. It was just no gender issue, right? And it's, don't get me wrong, it's a predominantly male sport, but the absolute reality was we had a great mix of people, and we never saw any of this. It just didn't exist, right?
But let's be honest, with rally driving, it's more about the car and how well you can set the car up.
Well, no,
So
it's-
obviously
no,
the driver
don't-
does play a part,
no,
but it's also the car.
No, I don't agree with that at all. It's the case is with certainly modern rallying, okay, that you've got electronic aids and whatever. It's taken an element of the physicality and strength that you required in the past. Back in the old days, you needed more strength. These days, you need less strength. You need far better aerobic ability, and therefore men and women both can be very competitive. There's no advantage to a male physique in that sport, right?
Well, the car's got power steering.
That's
power
right.
brakes, haven't they?
Yep. Yeah.
So
there's I don't know. I mean, like my car braking literally because you don't run a booster or
What
something.
about
ABS.
what about that one? The
That one?
that you crashed.
I didn't crash that one, but there you go.
Your directions caused it to crash.
Of course, it was clearly my fault. I will throw this out there.
Everything's your fault, though, Aaron.
Yeah,
I thought
know,
you knew
know,
that.
I know. I'm a horrible person. But I think I will just throw this forward. My braking pressure on my old rally car was 200 kilos. Like literally, that's how much pressure. So
It's really
does
funny.
tip
From
that
the
out.
first time I met you, it was 120 kilos, and every time you tell me, it goes up a little bit.
No.
each time.
That was what I could bench press back in those days.
Is that it?
Yeah. On
not a lot.
reps. Well, to me it was okay. I felt good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's
it's a lot, but
leg presses were different. But my point being is that okay, there's a physical element to that, and technology has taken that out, right? But if you're talking about running or swimming or whatever, let's cut the crap. Okay, men are physically stronger, in a basic form, right?
it's biology. We have testicles. We produce testosterone, so therefore our bones are denser and our muscles are able to exert more force onto our bones. A woman's body is designed to raise and rear children, so they need estrogen for milk production. So therefore, their bone density is just way lower than men's. Therefore, they can't have the same muscle.
Yeah, men
mass.
and women are different.
Yeah,
That's
so what-
obvious.
So
Yeah.
what I'm
again,
getting
for the third wave feminists out there, there are exceptions to every
Course there are.
rule.
Course there
So
are.
some people like Serena Williams, a little bit different. But even Serena Williams' own words said that she would not even reach the top 200 in any men's competition.
Yes, exactly. In fact, she got flogged by a man in that field. So, but where I'm going on this is I'm talking about equality. All right. Okay. So we're the black, white man, women, whatever. Okay. And in the case of trans athletes, I just think they're cheating. I really just genuinely think
They
they're
are cheating.
right?
Oh,
that bothers me.
JP, what's the guy? Red hair, tank.
Yep.
JP, not JP Morgan, JP Pierce.
Yeah. I can't
What's his
remember.
name? Oh, he's
He's
funny.
hilarious. Yeah.
And he
yeah.
did that thing about the trans swimming.
Yes, he did.
And
That
he's like,
is-
he was saying, oh, it's so discriminatory. The girls are scared of, like, my teammates are scared of getting changed with me in the same things. And I could have been faster if my testicle didn't fall out. And I was
It's
like,
a good spot.
wow.
Mm.
It was
Right.
a good
Now, on that thought, I think we should finish the show. Unless you guys have got anywhere you'd like to go on, or should we save it for next week?
one.
Because I actually really, really, really want our audience to get involved here. I want people to send us messages. You've got all week here. It's on social media. Put in your questions, your subjects, the things you want us to talk about.
Also, who you want us to talk to.
Yes, yes. And we are trying very hard, by the way, because today was Echo Chamber 101, because we obviously disagree with a few bits and bobs, but, ultimately we've got similar belief systems, right?
Yeah, you like falafel. I like fish and chips.
Exactly.
I don't know if you like
I
falafel
don't
or
like
not. I
falafel
just
at
made
all.
that up.
No, kebab, mate, kebab.
Yeah.
But, okay, I would really encourage people with different beliefs to come up here and sit on the old couch.
You know
because
what?
We need to talk.
We need a butcher and a vegan.
Let's do that. Do we have a butcher and a vegan?
I might have
there.
a vegan,
There we go.
but
Okay.
I'd love to get a butcher on the show.
All right. And with that, I'm going to it's the
And-
end of the show.
Mhm.
Oh, cricket person. Someone who can make sandwiches out of crickets.
Oh, sandwiches out of crickets. It is Edge Radio Australia. You can't say that. Well, we just did for the over the last 2 odd hours. Thank you for being part of it. Thanks to the people there on the socials. Really love having you there and really appreciate your input and comments there. But for us, we're out of here and we will see you next week. Same
Thanks very
time.
much. Bye.
Absolutely.
Same bat time, same bat place.
That's right. And we're going to go out with another great Aussie band, great song, bit of Black Betty, Bam-a-lam. Oh, yeah. It's Edge Radio Australia. You can't say that.
Yes, we can. Yes, I can. Heads up, Ken, we're still streaming live. So for the people on social media,
if you have any other final comments, we generally leave it up for a couple of minutes extra.
Yep.
So feel free to chuck your comments in now. I'm gonna finish my chips. Oh, I did finish my chips. But
It's a lot cooler in here, but it's been a long day in the heat. Let's face it. I need this water.
Okay.
What's that face for, man? That
Well, no.
face.
Your face. I've still got that. This edge. Oh, your face. I didn't even do nothing. Like, I was just sitting there.
Yeah.
You know what? I rewatched the video,
Yeah.
and you know what I look like?
What's that?
You know how you got a dog sitting there, and they're like, you've got the treat, and you put it on their nose, and you're like, wait, and it's like just raring to go, and it's like, okay, and
Go.
it's like, yeah. But then again, I also had like 3 Red Bulls. I was so tired that day. I was absolutely shafted, and so 3 Red Bulls, I think 3 or 4 coffees as well, and I was, you know, when you're so tired, but you have so much sugar, you're on a sugar rush. Yeah, I was on a massive sugar rush. So anyway, it was fun.
All right. Let me change that system over, and I'll be back.
I'm just going through seeing if there's any other comments. Beautiful. All right, on that note, I'm going to shut down there's been no other comments, so I'm going to shut down the stream. And yeah, so make sure you comment, like, share, and do all that other stuff. It's been fun. A lot of fun and games. All right, see you all, and talk soon.